care if you call me last, as long as I get the call. It's no BS. We're alive, and we are here for you until 10 o'clock. That is Armen Sorry, and I'm Billy Schmidt. Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Good morning. What's up? What's up, Billy? So I don't know. Should we talk about this stuff that we were talking about? I don't know. I never know what to say sometimes on the air. It doesn't really matter. It's full disclosure hour. It is 6 a.m.
It's true. It is your full disclosure hour. It is your Ask Me Anything hour, which has been going really well.
Well, I was excited.
We've gotten a lot of Ask Me Anything questions.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, right.
Sponsorships are on the way.
Hold on. This one from Mark. Armen Sarian, what do you eat for breakfast now that you start the show at 6 a.m.?
I'm glad you asked.
Glad
you asked. Sometimes I don't eat anything. Sometimes I get some hard-boiled eggs ready to go. Or like days like today, I had a nice slice of O&H Kringle. That we had left over. Although I do prefer Benson's, but both Kringles are good. I don't want to, say any Kringles.
I was going to say, you will start a holy war on the Kringles here at 6:01 in the morning by deciding and planting your flag into one of them.
Love Kringle. No, I just wanted to say I'm watching Marquette last night take down the Southern Jaguars. Okay. And I was really delighted to see our boy Brian Butch on the call with Josh Maurer last night. Two of our favorites, Billy. So that was a lot of fun.
One of them, yeah, and I love listening to Butchie on games, and I realized that in the midst of the bedtime and the diaper changes and the bath time, that Butchie had given me a call yesterday, and I have to give him a call back because he was driving down and wanted to check in. So all of a sudden I said that, and you're like, "Whoa, what the heck? You didn't call me."
I didn't get the call. I don't know what that was
sorry,
about.
I apologize. Yeah. Maybe.
I didn't get one either.
Oh,
I know, buddy. But I guess then you think about
flex. I didn't know that was a flex.
No, it's cool. He can't call everybody. Like he can't call everybody in his
probably
phone.
could 2 hour drive. But yeah.
Well, now he's got a lot of people to call. He's got to call and pay, which we're gonna have Matt on. And
we're gonna have Matt on today. Here talking some Badgers basketball and football.
This is funny.
We'll eat the vegetables and talk some football.
Hey, we will. It was funny because I saw Matt respond to Josh Maurer saying, because Butch does his pregame video all the time, and he has a snack or something. And I'm sorry, Josh. Welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world. Here you go. This is what you get.
Good stuff.
So now, Marquette last night, maybe a little bit of a bigger sweat than you were signing up for. 6-point game against the Jags at half.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. You in these bye games, when I say bye, I mean BUY, not BYE. The bye games where you're paying them to come and get beat up. I'm not like I can say I'm never super happy about what's going on because you either expect them to win by a 40 and never make it a problem, or it's one of those you can't win anything.
Classic damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. However, I gotta say I was never quote unquote like worried about the outcome. I didn't think Marquette was gonna lose. You don't want it to be a 6-point game at halftime. I'll fully admit that. You never want that, and You're a little more uncomfortable during the halftime break because it wasn't a 20-point game already, but it turned out to be a blowout. They took care of business with a 57-point second half, Billy. So I was never worried, but yeah, it might not have been my ideal relax, total enjoyment win by 40 game. Sometimes those games do turn hairy. I mean, there was a game against St. Thomas a couple of years ago like that. Plenty of games in my youth, watching Marquette and watching Wisconsin, where they get into close battles with teams you think they should beat, and every now and then you lose one of those. So I guess it's always something to worry about. But Marquette gets the win last night against Southern, 2-0. I mean, these are everyone knows they're gonna win these games, so it wasn't like a huge outcome.
Take the win and you smile.
But when you take a win and you smile, it's nice to see the whole starting lineup getting the double digits. In points, nice to see Chase Ross take the scoring load on again and do his thing. And it's nice to see the team shoot 38% from three.
Well, and also nice to get a win on a day where, apparently and potentially your coach wasn't all that focused.
No, yeah, that was the bigger story.
Your coach wasn't all that dialed in because in the middle of the afternoon, certain times you see things online and you're like, okay, rocket fuel,
man.
Oh. Absolute 6 to midnight. And then there's just, this is heaven. And it was somewhere in between the last two, I would assume. For one, Armen Sarian, when he reads the tweet that Giannis Antetokounmpo put out yesterday, said, random thoughts as I sit in my living room. Do I have college eligibility? Can I suit up for Marquette tonight? So as Armen immediately falls over to the floor with excitement, you and Nate Marzian potentially help each other up and then also, sit right back down because
my knees buckled.
I can only imagine the drop the mop's thought right there. Well, apparently the head coach of the Marquette Golden Eagles had a very, very similar thought.
I appreciate Giannis thinking about Marquette and second of all, if there was ever a time for our compliance folks to go to work, now's the time, because, I allowed myself like 5 minutes of suspending, reality and just thinking about what it would be like if Giannis was on our team. Because I don't know if you guys saw the graphic, Ben made with Giannis with the Marquette uniform. So I just said, you know what, 5 minutes, okay, then I go back to real life. But so I'm just thinking, okay, how do we play him? Who do we want out there with him? One of our coaches said, I think we win every game if Giannis played. I don't disagree with that. But, with some of the silliness going on right now with guys around the country getting eligibility that have been pros for several years, it's not too much of a deviation from that for Giannis to play for us. So if he ever really wanted to, we'll find him a spot and we'll go to work on that waiver.
Well, listen, they would definitely have to do some work in the weight room because you'd have to catch up to the old boy.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. But the irony of that statement is it's true. Like, you don't know these days. I guess technically maybe it could happen. Can you imagine if you could sign an NBA player just for a tournament run? Like, if you're the Badgers and you could load up, I don't know, pick a guy like LeBron, like if you're Marquette and you could obviously add this guy for a tournament run. Like, are you kidding me?
Well,
but you could. I mean, Dwayne Wade joked, I have 2 years of eligibility. I'll run the zone with you,
Think about it. That'd be phenomenal. Now, the differences in the eligibility restrictions, and there was a player that really stole a lot of headlines a couple of weeks ago that came back from the G League.
Yeah, to play for Louisville, right?
And Izzo had the statement that everybody was loving because he's like, listen, we would have known. We would have taken him. We would have tried.
Nobody even knew you could do this.
No one knew you could do this. But it does match up probably a lot more to the influx of international players that universities are finding. They're playing professionally when they're 14, 15, 16 years old.
It's a great example.
So there's a definite tweak in the rules that has to potentially come through. I know we're color me shocked saying the NCAA needs to figure it out. No way, really? So let's not hold our breaths that anything actually comes of this and gets rectified. But it's kind of above board. Like when I really started looking into it more of and thinking of the opportunities, okay, Giannis for sure. Drop him in for a tournament run.
I mean, wouldn't that be amazing?
They win every game by 25.
And guess you talk about ass in the jackpot. That's the joke, Think about how much Shaka's would be. Like, if you have Giannis in uniform and you didn't win every game, you're in big trouble, buddy. All of a sudden, you're on the hot seat. Like,
I also saw the videos of potentially what it would look like Shaka Smart on the sidelines coaching while Giannis is playing defense for his team.
Yes.
He would. Yes. You would need to have a defibrillator on the sidelines because Shaka would be putting himself into cardiac arrest all game long by how much fun he would be having on that sideline.
Or that finally, right, doing all that.
Hands up. Oh my God, it would be awesome to witness.
Or as everyone likes to joke sometimes, on the floor. He was on the floor. I also wonder, well, actually, would that be the time he'd finally relax and just sit down?
Might be the time.
Like Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
I'm good. To be honest,
give me that big cushion that you put on some of these seats because I'd like to sit a little higher than everybody else.
Also,
I would think that would be the time to relax a little bit.
Oh, definitely. Also, he can wear 34. It's not retired, even though multiple great players at Marquette have worn it. It's not retired or. No number's retired, but
no number is retired. But the jersey is retired, correct?
I don't think it is. 34.
Okay. So easy layup right there.
Because Diener wore it, McIlvain wore it, and obviously Tony Smith wore it.
Yeah.
A lot of great players wear 34, so we can just slide him right in that 34.
Rafters. It's a good fit right there.
Yeah.
Now I do wonder, and this pops up from an Alex Caruso half-baked theory that came up, I think, on Pardon My Take one time this past year that he was on, where he said 35 to 40 to 50 NBA players. Like, there's a long list of guys that you plop them into the NCAA tournament. You just drop them onto somebody in the field. They're going to win the whole thing. All right, you drop Giannis into an NCAA tournament run. They're winning the whole thing.
I like to think so. But if you do that with multiple players, not everyone can win it. Right, so let's say you had Giannis on Marquette.
The theory is one at a time.
One at a time. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
is the theory.
These are thought experiments, Billy. I exercise these theories in multiple ways.
But like
like to think so, unless somehow they got him in foul trouble or they, You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of scenarios.
How far down the line do you think that you could go before you'd say, I don't know that they would just win the whole thing?
I mean, I don't know. Hack a Giannis. I mean, you just think of all these.
So you're not even guaranteeing that if Giannis just goes on to anybody in the NCAA tournament field, they're winning the whole thing.
Like if Giannis goes to UW Green suits up for Gottlieb, UW Green Bay.
I'm talking about somebody in the field again.
Well,
a team that would be
the
in
field
the field
of
of 68.
Okay, but I'm saying if he joined them earlier, he'd make the run and they'd be in the field. All right, how far down the line? I think it'd be like a 14 seed, like a 14 to 15 seed.
So you could see Giannis dropped in onto, say, the Catamounts of Vermont.
Sure, or
winning
Or Montana State Bobcats.
Yeah,
14 seed last year.
Exactly.
Good
Montana
luck.
State, good one, like Big Sky. I think they could make the run all the way.
Now, how far down the list of NBA players? Right? Like, because I think of there's a number of different players that you're like, okay, Alex Caruso, that's really nice that you say that. You're not impacting the game that much. Then I see how he impacted the NBA Finals, and I'm not so sure. Like, I mean, like you see the certain kinds of players, and you're like, okay, that guy with the ball in his hands for 38 minutes into a NCAA tournament game, I'll take my shot. I'll see what it goes. I think there's probably about 20. I think it's a little rude to be thinking that you're going to go down outside of the all NBA teams and start thinking somebody's just going to walk a pedestrian SEC team
Sure.
to the NCAA title.
I agree with you because you can't sit there and tell me like if I put Jalen Brunson out there, I think a team's got a great shot.
You put Jalen Brunson on just about any team in the NCAA tournament field, I will be betting them to win the title.
I bet it, but they could definitely lose. Like guards get stopped before. Like there are some guards that have bad shooting nights. But if I put
but also isn't the old adage that guards win in the NCAA tournament?
It is. But I mean, in theory, the field's more equalized. But if I put Luka out there, like it's just hard for me to see a big man getting stopped compared to a guard more. But then you're right. How far down do I go? Like if
like all due respect to Josh Hart and his family.
Sure.
I don't think that anybody that's just on a starting five in the NCAA or in the NBA is taking their team to the NCAA tournament championship.
Max Strus is not. Max Strus barely made the NBA, but he made it and he's carved a decent career out for himself. But Max Strus played it at DePaul. Like he was the same player. I mean, he's the same guy. He's gotten better. He's gotten older and stronger in theory, but he's still Max Strus. You get my point?
Daryl in Deerfield. Come on, guys. I'm trying, but you're making it really difficult. I think this is funny. You listen to it and you think back to how many guys you just get dropped into their prime of their careers. Because this is also why you can't just have, and I can't remember what athlete it was that had this conversation. When Ryan Clark really started going after Peter Schrager, man, you don't know.
You never played.
That's a non-player thought
played.
process.
Yeah.
And maybe it was Ocho Cinco said, listen, that's why you can't just have a panel of all analysts or all players, because all analysts would get into every single DVOA metric and estimated per play number, and you would get bored that way. And if you went to every player perspective, it would be, yeah, but my best team would have beaten that team.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, you even them all up. This is mindless nonsense. Daryl, guess what? There's a lot of different things in sports conversation that end up getting mindless nonsense. That if you sit back and you start thinking up to the best players in the league as to how great they are. Sorry, Anthony Edwards was on a team in the NCAA. He was one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
They didn't even make the tournament.
Right.
But you give him 8-9 years, could be a totally different deal.
And welcome
different deal.
Welcome to the conversation. Yeah. Now I think about a guy like Ja, because Ja was as good as he was against Marquette in the tournament and absolutely pantsed us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't win it all, for instance. Like they eventually got stopped. So at what point would that happen? Like if those guys played if Franz Wagner played his best game, they could win for a while. But he's not going to just win just because he's a top 40 NBA player.
There also was the idea that like you come in as a senior in high school and you're going to go play like junior high school basketball.
Totally.
You'd be dominating. All right, I'm going to drop one of these 26, 27-year-old NBA players into the NCAA tournament. Going to be some grown man strength. They start looking around the rosters, and there's plenty of 25-year-olds. So it might be counteracted and balanced out a little bit.
I agree, but this is the genesis of all this comes from everybody's fantasy, at least mine when I was in like middle school and high school, that if I played a bunch of fifth graders, I'd dominate.
715, I'm an elementary school PE teacher.
Right. This
and
is
I
great.
pull this Giannis stuff all the time. Sometimes I play for a weak team at recess, then go out and just beat the athletic and cool kids in basketball.
Right. That's
now,
why
that is a hero that doesn't work.
That's the hero. And that's like, we all had that dream at one point. That's why I love talking about
Or when
this.
I was a 6th grade youth football coach and I would rep at quarterback when we'd have our defense out there,
Yep,
and I'd just be slinging it all over the field.
All-time QB.
Yeah. I was 21 years old, but
Exactly. But now, like, is Desmond Bain top 50 NBA? I think so.
Got a $30-some million contract a year.
Do you think if Desmond Bain walks into any college team, he's going to help dominate them? No.
I don't know, man. He shoots 40-some% from 3, and I think they got a good chance.
I think he'll help him. I definitely think he'll help. But I'm just making a point.
You can take the field. I think I might be taking Bain and whoever you're throwing him on. 877-794-1973. Fun start as Giannis had us all daydreaming yesterday. Even the head coach of the Golden Eagles.
I love that.
Dreaming of it. And listen, we dreamed about him being on the Wisconsin Badgers as well. I'll tell you that much as well.
Absolutely.
You got me messed up if you don't think that I was dreaming of Brian Butch having to do color commentary of Giannis getting the rock inside of 10 feet away every single time. And how many times Matt LePay's chest would just be bruised to the nines by him getting the ball and Butchie hitting the palm right into the chest. Go, big man, big man. He would be so evilly dominant.
Well, and that's the most probably similar to circle it all the way back to Butch at the beginning of the segment. That's the most similar you'll get of a visual. If you ever watch Butch at some of these high school games, if you ever watch high school tape of Butch, which I do, if you ever watch high school game tape of Butch, he was getting like quadruple and 5 teamed. He was getting quadruple teamed all the time. And it was that's what it was. That's how teams could defend him back when he was at Appleton West. So that was probably the most similar comparison to what it is.
Kayvon Looney, when he was at Hamilton, literally had 2 guys on him every single play.
Time. I remember
every
those
single
games.
play.
Every play. Yeah. So
and they would still win.
It was still finishing it off. 877-794-1973. All right. It is a Thursday in the NFL. Football back on the field. Packers back on the practice field coming up later today as they get ready for their Monday night game coming up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Get into the entire week, get into the slate. Some other things you missed overnight, as well as a little bit of a new look NFL after a couple of big time moves that may have changed the way the AFC looks. Did the NFC get any tougher after the trade deadline? We'll analyze it going up as we'll discuss the conversation amongst college basketball, college football with our friend Matt LePay. That comes up at 8. Plenty of room for you at 877-794-1973. Off and running. It's no BS on the game.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game. If you missed No BS, you missed out on this.
Voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrabee hanging out with us here. After how emotional Pittsburgh was and how much everyone's looking forward to Philadelphia, this wasn't super surprising to see the lack of juice, was it?
I would love to argue with you on that, but I really can't. The emotion, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, they get even the best of teams. But the key is really the really good, mature teams find a way to play over that. And, you know, you're exactly right, Billy. The emotion, that Pittsburgh game, okay, the players and the coaching staff, especially going into that game, tried to downplay it as best they could. That game meant a lot to that football team. And I saw it in the locker room after the game. Those guys were hanging around in Pittsburgh, and they were savoring the moment. And it was a big deal because it was a time for them to prove that their guy, Jordan Love, not only was surpassing Aaron Rodgers at this stage, a better player, but they were intent that he would be able to beat Aaron Rodgers in a matchup, maybe the only matchup they'll ever have against one another.
Billy and Armen are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on The Game.
Kevin Kugler here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Ryan Harris and I will get Week 10 started from Denver when the Broncos host the Raiders. Sean Payton's squad is 7-2, including 6 straight wins, and lead the AFC West. Now they host Pete Carroll and a Las Vegas team hoping to break a 2-game losing trend. Join us for the Raiders at the Broncos on Thursday Night Football.
Pregame begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Blondie songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3. One Way or Another.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one day. Maybe next week, I'm gonna meet you. I'll meet you.
Number 2. Heart of Glass.
In between, what I find is pleasing and I'm feeling fine. Love is so confusing, there's no peace of mind. If I fear I'm losing you, it's just no good. You're cheesing like this.
Number 1. Call Me.
Emotions come, I don't know why. Cover of love's alibi. Call me, anytime. Call me,
Hear more from Blondie and similar artists now. Search for Blondie on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Kennedy throws, has the ball. It is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think they're committed to win.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Out on cold. For quality food to meet every request. Count on Cold. So neat, so clean, so wonderful. Each item so easy to find. Such quality, great variety, like no other store of its kind. Count on Cold.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
There's actually a fucking magazine called Walking. Look, Dan, the new Walking is out. Here's a good article, putting one foot in front of the other.
Put one foot in front of the other.
That's how you step into the Iron Jock Studios, and that's what our friend Scott Dolphin does daily here from FM 106.1. Joining us now on the program. Morning, Dolph. How are we feeling today?
Hey, Billy Armen. We're getting into the holiday season. You're going to be seeing this special, Put One Foot in Front of the Other. Was this, Letty, help me out. Was this, it's either The Year Without a Santa Claus or Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
Yeah.
I think
not
Santa
a clue,
Claus
Dolph.
is coming
Sorry,
to
my
town.
bad.
I think Santa Claus is
what it
coming to town.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should know this.
This would be the old, like the claymation animated
Yes.
Santa Claus is coming to
Stop
town.
action photography like
Yes.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Trying to
That's
get
what it is.
my 2-year-old into it.
You're correct,
He's
Billy.
not. Thank you. Good. There we go. Let's go. Because we already have the Christmas decorations up, Dolph. Like Christmas
now.
Christmas has come to the Schmidt house.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was told to get rid of the pumpkins out front. She's like, it is fall, but
Well, I mean,
Get those
that's
out of
probably a good call when you look at this weekend. It's supposed to be low 40s with rain turning to snow on Saturday and highs in the 30s. Feels like 20s on Sunday. So
Not
you were
lying.
smart to get stuff up early because the rest of us are going to be going, oh, why didn't I put my Christmas decorations up November?
Yeah.
oh
Great
no.
day.
See, now I appreciate Dolph immediately believing that right when it first gets brought up to me, I do get out there and get them done.
That you're the one.
Oh no. Dolph, there'll be a lot of procrastinating in this house. There'll be a lot of holding off and being like, well, listen, wait just a day. Well, wait just a day. Wait just a day. And then all of a sudden my wife goes, yeah, you've waited too long. I'm going to put them up. Okay. All right. Let's calm down over here. I'll get up on the ladder. I won't. I'll call my dad.
Is that the type of guy like I'm gonna have to be now? Like, because it's also not a great day to move.
Homeowner season, baby. Oh yeah.
It's also Saturday, rain, turn, and snow. Not a great day to move. So only some of us chose that day. Me,
get it done early.
One. Clark Griswold. I'm not all Clark Griswold. I told Laura, I was like, am I gonna have to like start going crazy with the lights and doing all these things now?
Yeah, of course.
Here we go.
Of course you are.
Here we go. I'm talking about ladders and ice, and here you go.
You can spend half your paycheck at Target and places like that picking up Christmas lights.
Well,
decorations.
Or you go to Target and you'll get. No, you know what we really need to do? Replace the doorknobs.
Yeah, just gotta do that.
Yeah, that was actually exactly what I was saying. Oh, we also need some new throw pillows for the living room.
Of course.
You will not walk out of that place without spending $100.
That's true.
When Laura sends me the I got a Target order thing, and I got to pick it up on the way home. Like, there's something wrong here, Laura. This one says 27 items. There's something wrong. You get the wrong one.
The good news is you just pull into the parking spot and they run it out to you, right?
Sure, I know. I walk in because I want to check out what's going on there too. I want to check out that $1 area in the front. That's where those items better be from. That $1 area. All right, you know what I'm talking about? No, you know the real reason is I get that $2 icy in the front. You know.
Look at you! I thought you were just trying to make sure that you walked out and then analyzed that they had everything in the cart.
It is what it is. I trust them. I'm actually not that person. If you go in the drive-thru, do you count every item in the bag before you drive away? I never do it. I just trust them. What's the point? I said if all my years of my life that I spend trying to go through each one to make sure the chalupa's there, the gordita, the cheesy gordita crunch, it's not going to matter. So I'm just going to trust it's all there. And if it's not, I'm going to take my lumps.
My wife will stop traffic and make sure there isn't one single onion on a burger and I'm like, thanks, gone. I get home and she's like, dude, you forgot the whatever.
Did you even look?
She's like, didn't you check? I was like, no, I didn't open each taco to make sure that this one had beans and this one. Are you kidding me?
I'm a big believer though in the pull into the slot and have your stuff run out to you at Target. Not so much at the grocery store. I'm a big produce guy. I have to inspect every avocado, every apple. Don't be just throwing stuff in a bag.
I would never do a remote grocery order for that reason. I want to pick out my produce. Billy's just rolling his eyes in his head laughing at me.
Because Dolph's
like produce.
Dolph sounds like the middle of both of it because I love the grocery pickup. And however, I do kind of like to go to Costco to pick out the fruit.
Exactly.
I will go and figure out which bananas I want. However, there is nothing easier than punching in spot number 3, and that young lady runs that thing out there.
It's nice.
Now, this is the tough part, and I did yesterday. I did feel like I had to. Chivalry is not fully dead. I did get out of the car though and help load in the
class act. Class act.
I thought
That's awesome.
I thought that was pretty.
And you probably saved half the tip that way. Do you ever do
the tip?
Do you ever do delivery?
No,
groceries.
No, but the truck comes around my little condo area because I have a lot of elderly folk that live in our condo area, and the truck comes around, and I really kind of feel bad because I know they kind of probably have to pay for that because they can't get up and get going. But it does seem convenient, you know. And
it's not terribly priced either, and it's kind of nice to. You just have to be home. You don't want to leave your groceries sitting on your front porch.
It is a winner though. It does make you feel like kind of a king now.
They're bringing me the groceries.
There's a part of the delivery and the to-go life that I do thank COVID quite a bit because we are never going back to the amount of times having to go to a restaurant to make sure that you're not having to cook that.
That's so true. That's so true.
Without a doubt. 100%. You're right about that.
Yeah.
It's a game changer. Now, Dolph, I love that beautiful game-changing Iowa Hawkeyes hoodie you have on there. That looks like team-issued, beautiful Hawkeye.
It was team issued a few years ago.
That thing saw a couple of broadcasts, it looks like.
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
You know, I get Big Brother hand-me-downs from Iowa football and basketball.
That's got to be a good feeling, though, to get all that free swag.
Hey, it's nice. Although, you know, we used to be the same size, and then during COVID, wife and I started hiking, so now everything is XL, and I kind of swim in.
Got a little extra in there. Well, then you should just send a couple of pictures to your brother and be like, hey.
You didn't have to throw a Gary.
I don't know if this one fits. I don't know if this one fits you as well as it does me.
I know,
but I think the best part is I want to see Dolph unboxing one of the boxes from his brother, like John Gruden is now, when all the college football teams are sending them gear and ripping.
That's awesome.
Look at this, man. This is what I'm talking about. The Wisconsin Badgers, man. Look at this one right here. That's all red and white. That's exactly what I need right here.
Seriously, when you're watching a game and you see the gear they wear on the sideline or on the bench and back, you're like, oh God, I gotta have one of those. And then you price it, and it's like, no, maybe I'm going back to Fanatics or Kohl's one more time.
Maybe I don't. I'll try to get some of Giannis's Kohl's cash.
Well, that's the thing that's amazing is like they just, they get their gear and they wear it. The coaches get, and you're like, man, do they really know that's like a $300 thing they're wearing? But they don't keep that stuff.
They don't.
I think it just gets issued and it gets back. I mean, I'm sure you can snag it if you know the manager. If
Or
you're
maybe
one of those
find it at
guys.
Goodwill.
Yeah, one of those things.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, if you're smart and you go to the right thrift store, when the coaches get fired, they drop off all that stuff at the Goodwill. You can get some good picks.
You mentioned Giannis. How many times did you retweet Giannis's tweet last night about suiting up for Marquette?
Retweeted with GIF, replied, retweeted the Dwayne Wade, retweeted the Shaka, retweeted the Marquette account.
We
Retweeted
let
the other.
off with it.
It was listen. It probably isn't work. Like there's no sports radio coach in America would have told me to do the first segment the way I did. But you know what? We did it. I don't care. I really don't care. Okay. If my favorite basketball player ever basically is invoking the name of my favorite college team ever, I'm gonna talk about it. That's just what it is.
That just put a huge smile on my face. That was the thing that made me happier than anything else yesterday, reading that tweet and just saying that's Giannis. That he's such a treasure. And every day we need to remind ourselves how lucky we are to have him in Milwaukee and Wisconsin because he just throws stuff like that out.
I think they also need Giannis on the sidelines for a couple of games. Giannis and Thanasis maybe on the sidelines for a big time, primetime Big East game.
Why not? I mean, you always see D Wade and those ex-great Marquette
Those
players
guys,
come back all the time. So, yeah, maybe he can join them.
And if they're ever going to get juiced up, those boys get fired up.
Very fired up.
I mean, like even at the Brewers playoff game, they're going
yeah.
to be waving the towels. Thanasis might lead the student section.
Oh, gosh. Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, they'd be right. I'm sure that Scott Kuykendall can find them tickets if they need some.
Get them courtside near the visiting bench, right, with the students behind so that they can fire them up.
Oh, yeah, right there.
That's what I'm talking
Thanasis in front of the student section. He'll be taking the shirt off and waving
It'll be
it.
game over.
Right behind the visiting bench. That might be hard to do because I would assume the visiting team usually gets those seats right behind the bench, but the Nats is in there somehow.
Maybe move their like team pastor over.
Team chaplain. Yeah.
Maybe their team chaplain or their team accountant gets moved over, gets shifted. Their traveling secretary is going to have to sit in the 200s. Sorry, we got Thanasis going to have to sit over here and fire the crowd.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, man, that would be. Father Lawrence, I think. Is it still Father John Lawrence? I think is their team chaplain. That would be hilarious.
Oh no, Father John gets to sit where he said. I'm moving the visiting team.
Oh, the visiting
team.
team.
Sorry, visiting team chaplain. Sorry, you're going to have to go watch the game in section 204.
Oh, I see. Well,
listen, we're not moving Marquettes. Come on now.
They don't all have those. Depending
But
on who they
in the
play,
Big East, they mostly do, right?
Yeah.
Who's non-religious in the Big East? UConn. Is that it? That's the list?
No, I think.
I don't know. Dan Hurley needs
Providence?
some Jesus. I'm watching him on
Providence
the
is
sideline.
Catholic.
Providence is the Catholic school.
Yeah,
I think
Sorry, I thought it was
they're-
just a city.
I think they're all Jesuit schools except for Butler.
Well, Villanova's like Dominican.
Oh, they are. Okay, so they're not Jesuit.
That's a different.
They're almost all
Paul's
Catholic
not
schools.
Jesuit. It's a different Catholic. Listen,
Got
I'm
it.
not a theologian here, but there's different Catholic sects and orders.
Presbyterian and stuff like that.
It's a different
Sure.
thing. I'm not like is Creighton's Jesuit? Yeah.
But they would, yes,
I think so.
Creighton is a Jesuit, but they would have a religious.
They're all if they're Catholic or
Except for
they're
Butler,
religious.
which is, I believe, a different.
Butler's the
denomination.
one I think that isn't. Yeah, I
Well,
believe Butler's a.
They don't
public
get to
school.
play. Sorry. Sorry, we'll go down there and we'll invade Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Right.
But when you guys come up here, just so you know, team chaplain going to have to watch the game in the upper level because we're going to have Thanasis hanging out there. That might be one of the headlines that we could throw on there. Sorry, Bucks and Marquette and Packers all signing Thanasis Antetokounmpo to be a hype man.
Make it happen. That wasn't one of the headlines, so I'm glad you brought it up. Broncos, Raiders start the week in the NFL tonight in Denver. Who are you taking, Billy?
I got the Broncos. I also got RJ Harvey to score the first touchdown.
Okay. Are they giving a ton of points?
6.5 was what I saw earlier on this week. The Raiders are feisty though. Now it's up to 9. Now it's up to 9 at Denver. So that's still a decent amount, but I would be laying the Broncos with the number.
Bo Nix has been really good. Sorry to interrupt, guys. Bo Nix I don't think is lost in 5 starts, if I'm not mistaken. So.
Yeah, and I don't want to say he gets slighted because he's in Denver. I mean, because NFL fans know who he is, but he's really turned into what they hoped he would coming out of college.
I would say so.
He is exactly what Sean Payton said he was when he told everybody, don't tell anybody about how good this guy is.
Right.
Don't tell a single soul about how good this guy is.
When Sean Payton was trying to run Russell right out of town on a rail.
Well, you made the right decision. Let's be honest about it.
He absolutely did.
I love that Sean Payton because he's going to tell everybody he made the right decision. Like,
so you know, he also wanted to draft Mahomes. If he hasn't told you that before, he was going to draft Mahomes. Yeah, he was going to draft Mahomes. He knew it. He was smarter than everybody else.
He's like our guy in Toronto that said he was ready to draft Giannis, and everybody was like, "Oh, we wanted
Messiah
Giannis."
Ujiri. Oh yeah, I've actually
Sure
always loved Giannis.
Commissioner couldn't even pronounce his name. Didn't even come close. There's an international game this weekend, and that is the Falcons and Colts in Berlin.
First game in Germany.
Yeah, and then there's one in Madrid next weekend. I don't remember who's playing in that one. I think that's the last international game of the NFL.
Well,
Yeah, you're right.
If you're Sauce, you got to take the first game. You have to take the long plane ride.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's tough. I mean, you have to get onboarded. We know how tough that is to get a new job. You get onboarded. You have to get the key card. You have to get all that stuff, and then boom, they got to get you all figured out with your passport. I would imagine there's actually somebody that's got a lot of headaches to deal with all that stuff in there.
Well, Luddy could answer that
Yeah,
question.
it's called their director of operations and all the people that work for him. It's not, and Billy joked about the traveling secretary earlier. Hello, that those are some fun trips to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you don't have your passport ready to go. Oh, well, let's go down to the DMV and get this expedited real quick.
Did you have that on your business card, traveling secretary?
No, I had director of operations.
That was an umbrella title because you did a lot more than just book travel.
And about 70 other job titles I could have listed too.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's good experience, though. You got to love that. That's great experience.
That is a good one. I like Ryan and Muskego said, morning, boys. Merry Christmas. Armen, we're touring Marquette next weekend for my son. Can I name drop you for a little extra discount?
Good luck.
Awesome. You could try it. It won't work. I mean, you could try to do it. I don't know if anyone was going to care if you name drop. They probably look at you with 4 eyes. Like, you know.
Well, they might have glasses.
I don't want to tell, is it Ryan? I don't want to say what tuition is up to right
bro.
now, but
Oh,
I know.
no.
So my wife's a Marquette grad. My daughter graduated from Marquette in 2016 or 17, and I know what it was then. I can't imagine what it is now.
Yeah, I don't think that 2020 boost is definitely going to change some things up. All the inflation over the last 10 years, it's
crazy.
Number.
It was a lot less when I went. Ryan, I hope you've been saving, and/or she's getting some great scholarships. And tell her to be an RA because she'll save some money that way.
Or he, because it's his son.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said daughter. I thought I said daughter. Yes, son. So yes, son. Tell him to be an RA.
Here's what I'll say: is people that go to Marquette, my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Shannon, my morning show partner, they cherish those memories just like you, Armen.
That's right.
It's a school that you
absolutely
love going to. Me, on the other hand, I went to a school in Iowa. I have not stepped foot back in that town in decades.
But it did well for you, you know.
No. I had buddies go to Cornell though and play football there.
Play for the Rams.
Yeah. They say, "Oh yeah, I went to Cornell," and people say Ivy League, and they're like, they just kind of
close enough.
Yeah, right.
Indian Trails in Ottumwa, or is it Indian Hills?
It's Indian Hills.
Indian Hills in Ottumwa.
Okay, so
I spent a month there one night.
I went to a JUCO, and they were one of our big rivals in baseball. That's a great sports school, Indian Hills.
Yeah, they had
basketball.
Zach Morley went there, Badger legend, I would say. Dwight Bikes, Marquette player. Yeah. They're a huge feeder school for a lot of D1s. In fact, they have little individual banners for every guy that went there that went to D1. There was like 100 of them around the gym.
That's awesome.
We went there for a game once. Some buddies of mine, I don't know what player we were watching.
So I went to a school called Waldorf, which is still around.
Yeah.
Warriors. But we were a 2-year school then, and we played Indian Hills and eliminated them from the regional my sophomore year. And their pitcher was Kevin Ritz, who had a nice big league career with the Rockies, Rangers, and Tigers.
A lot of athletes come out of there, and they had a great band. They had a great pep band. It was awesome. They were just going. It was just great.
Dropping the Iowa JUCO knowledge.
That was kidding.
That was a tough night.
I think my favorite deal is I went to the Waldorf University page, and the first thing is, welcome to Waldorf. Affordable, notable, diverse. View all programs. Let's go.
Hey,
you know we got all of them.
I got to get back there.
Yeah, Dolph, have you been back for a football game this year by chance?
No,
they're over.
Oh, they're awful. They were awful when I was there, and they're still awful.
Some quick math. They didn't score a point in August or September.
Oh, my God.
And they have scored a grand total of 27 all season.
Oh, my
Holy Wisconsin.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're not very good in that NAIA.
Wow. That is brutal. Well, they weren't very good in JUCO football either, but at least they competed
carried
somewhat.
over.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, I played baseball. We went to football games, though.
Football games were a lot more fun to go and enjoy and then walk out at halftime. Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, we saw a lot of those. we enjoyed a lot of those games. Where did everybody go? Oh, the tailgate's probably more fun.
I got to mention it really quick. Even though Butler is the non-religious Big East school, their mascot is awesome. It's the Bulldog, Butler Blue.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a big day for their social media team whenever they come play Marquette, because they always tour them around Milwaukee to with the Golden Eagle to eat at cops and do all these things.
That's great.
It's huge for their social media. Okay?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a Bulldog.
Thad Mata's still there, right? Isn't he?
I don't know. They've been changing so many.
Okay.
Isn't it Patino's kid there now? Oh, that's Xavier. What am I thinking?
No, that's Xavier.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's Thad Mata. I think it is. There've been so many coaching changes.
Currently in his second head coaching stint at Butler.
He's back.
That man is A1.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal drop.
I watch a lot of Big East basketball.
Well, it's better than Big Sky. We have another guy in here.
Hey, wow.
Don't talk about Montana like that, right? Or Eastern Washington.
I will. Sorry. You want to watch Montana State or you want to watch Creighton? I think there'll be an easy.
Northern Arizona.
Yeah, easy answer.
Yeah.
Go Jacks.
Go Jacks.
Dolph, appreciate it, brother. We'll talk
All right,
tomorrow.
boys.
There he is, Scott Dolphin, hanging out with us here on No BS. Get to Steppen. He will get out of here, and you can join us on the NicolaLaw.com talk and text line, 877-794-1973. It's No BS on the game.
Miss an hour of No BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. If you missed Drew and KB, you missed out on this.
Today we welcome Steve Post to the program. Not everybody can say they ran in a sausage race.
The Padres were playing the Brewers, and I was following the Padres around the country. Then I got to know those guys really well. So I remember I followed them up to Milwaukee, and the manager was Bruce Bochy. I had the wildest time with the Padres about a week before that in Miami, and I threw Bruce Bochy's minibar out of his hotel room window and destroyed it, and it caused $467 of damage. So Bruce Bochy sees me, and he says, Boltsy, you owe me $467 for a minibar. And we had a meeting. You're not allowed to stay in the same hotels as us anymore. The traveling secretary banned me from staying in the same hotels.
That's awesome.
So I was in Milwaukee, and that day, Bochy says to me, why don't you come down and sing to the players in the dugout? So I sang this song called 98 Pounder. And then he said, why don't you go out in the field and shag fly balls while Tony Gwynn takes batting practice? So this was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off for me. I went out, and I'm sitting there, and these security guards come up to me. They go, are you Steve Poltz? And I go, yeah. And they go, oh, they want you to come sit by Jerry Coleman while he calls the game. And Jerry Coleman was the voice of the Padres. And Jerry Coleman, legendary guy, managed the Padres a little bit and then became the voice of the Padres. So they let me sit by Jerry Coleman while he calls the game.
Oh, that's so cool.
I did that, and then Jerry Coleman was laughing. I had him smiling. He goes, hey, how would you like to sit next to the Uke next inning? So he brings me in. I get to sit by Bob Uecker. I'm sitting there with Uecker. He couldn't have been kinder to me. And then a security guard comes back up. He goes, hey, they want you to run the sausage races in the 7th inning. And I go, are you kidding me?
What a day.
And so this truly was amazing. And Poltz becomes Polish sausage. I go out there, and out of 5 sausages, I took 5th.
Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6, right here on The Game.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Coming up tonight, it's Thursday Night Football in Denver as the 2-6 Raiders take on the 7-2 Broncos. You can hear that game in both Milwaukee and Madison. In Milwaukee, you can hear it on Fox Sports 920 WOKY. And in Madison, you can hear it on 1070 The Game. Pre-game begins at 6:30 with the kickoff at 7:15. If you're looking for some Badgers content tonight, Badgers men's basketball head coach Greg Gard will have his show at 7 o'clock on 1310 WIBA in Madison. I'm Hunter Baumgart for The Game Radio Network.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot, Carr, shoot, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Why, we missed it. How do we miss it? For the love of Pete! What's going on in there?
Monday night, the Packers take on the Eagles at Lambeau. Hear all the action on 95.7 Big FM. Presented by Robert Hack Diamonds. They buy gold. See them in Brookfield or Greenfield.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicolaLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
Where there's too much traffic, I can't pass, no. So I'm trying my best to leave on move, black and white, come and touch my groove again.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you. And this show is free on 1070 The Game in Madison, in Rhinelander. The Game, 101.3 FM, 1240 AM. You can also wake up with us in Appleton. What's up, Fox Valley? The Score, 95.3 in Appleton, 99.1 in Oshkosh, 1570 AM. The best place to be hearing us there. AM Signals. Listen, backbone of America.
Backbone of America, AM,
Let's
baby.
just remember, that's blue collar radio.
That's where I started, baby.
And that's where we're going to stay.
What?
That's where we're going to be hanging out.
Blue collar. That's what we're about.
Now, blue collar folks would definitely like to find something they like and then stick with it, right? You find a service that works and go to it. I think of a blue collar guy. I think of how I end up rolling a lot of times with shoes. I get a good pair of shoes. You know what I'm doing, Armin?
You're buying another pair.
Buying two more.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you on that because your feet got to feel good because you're on your feet because you're a hardworking guy.
This one works.
Because you're a hardworking guy, yeah.
So, listen, hardworking people are starting to realize that I think we might be onto something here. We find something we like, we're going to stick with it. We're going to hold the line. Hold the line, YouTube TV subscribers, because it might be working here, Armin. Disney might be feeling us over here on the YouTube TV side. We like it. We love the service. We want to keep it as a YouTube TV subscriber. Awful announcing, putting up a story that Disney's losing $5 million a day off of not being on YouTube TV. They got ESPN got community notes yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that too.
You showed the community notes when they put out a graphic talking about how many people watched Monday Night Football on Monday with the Cardinals and Cowboys. At 16.2 million viewers, second highest Monday Night Football Week 9 audience since 2011. Now, I do also first off love how specific.
Very specific. We're talking about real specific.
We are talking
narrative
about
building statistics, right?
This
Let's be
week
honest.
Of the NFL schedule, only Monday night games. Boom, one of the biggest ever.
These are the people that will say because it fits their narrative. So-and-so team hasn't done anything in the last 14 years. The record, it's like the year after they won the championship or something.
Crazy how that would happen.
They'll set the parameter correctly. Go ahead. Uh-oh.
Right out of the gates, they get hit with the community notes. Readers added context. The viewership is down 20%, almost 4 million viewers from 2024 Week 9.
Emotional damage. Now,
it would be a little different of a graphic.
Very different, understandably so. Now, this is the one thing that kind of annoys me about these little propaganda games that everybody always plays. Networks and things, and you can slice and dice revenue and numbers, Billy. It's like, yeah, I get it. Okay, you're going to be rich either way. These people are rich either way. They're making money either way. Whether or not the viewership is up, it's down, it's this and that. They're just trying to feel like they're trying to build propaganda just to make us either be okay with and or not be okay with, depending on what side of the aisle you're on, buying a new product or not buying the product.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it just gets a little bit exhausting. Okay, it really does. When I hear them say, oh, look, viewership's up. And then someone says, well, no, actually it's down. It's like, well, these numbers are just kind of like silly season to me. What is that supposed to mean to me? That at 16 million and at 20 million, it's like, it's up. I'm like, I guarantee everybody in those suits is getting rich anyway. Okay.
I would assume this is not going to hit Bob Iger of Jimmy Vittaro's pocket.
It really isn't. So I'm going to feel good. I'm not going to cheer for their viewership numbers like I'm cheering for the Bucs to win. The score. You know what I mean? That's where I kind of just, my eyes glaze over with all that stuff.
And ESPN did an interesting tactic where they had all of their talent, like their top talent, put out the link in like a little video of, hey, keepyournetworks.com or whatever it ends up being. We're being taken off your air. Tell your provider that you want us. Van Pelt got hammered online for the video that he put out. Herb Street, same way. Now on Saturday, this past Saturday,
I told the line,
somebody that does not toe the line at ESPN quite often, Pat McAfee, decided to say, well, this is going to be the first College Game Day that's not going to be on television. You know what we're going to do? Stream it right here. He streamed it on his X account. Now, he had gave some context to it yesterday. He had spoke with Vittaro, the leader at ESPN, and he's like, yeah, do it. Put the whole 3 hours out there. McAfee's like, well, I was just going to do the last hour because it could fit into my contract as a clip. Hey, you can't tell me there's a clip in here. There's an hour worth of clips in here, but I'm a clip show and I'm on here so you can put this out. Instead, they gave that to the streamers for free. They put it on the ESPN app for free. And then everybody left. because they couldn't watch the games. And then on Monday, ESPN found themselves in an even bigger conundrum where a bunch of YouTube TV subscribers who then had bought in the ESPN package still were unable to watch Monday Night Football because ESPN channel 30 on Spectrum in many places in Milwaukee, a lot of places, you'll think of your number on the dial on the remote that you'll plug in. Well, that is the only way that you got to watch it. So like Aaron in Carolina saying, ESPN better fix this stuff by Monday.
Yeah.
Because this is going to get very, very localized with the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. And as much as they'll go to whatever channel and find a local channel you would assume in maybe Milwaukee and Green Bay, I'm not positive, depending upon what service you have. If you're on YouTube TV, you just don't get ABC. So it wouldn't even go on the local channel.
Crazy.
You would think it will still be on any kind of antenna channel that you're on, but it just comes back to suits. Figure it the bleep out.
That's the frustrating part. It's one thing to have to pay for something, and I think people don't like it, but they understand the reality of streaming and cable service, whatever it is. It's one thing to pay for it and say, okay, but if you're not even giving me the product I'm paying for, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're not even giving me the product I'm paying for and or making it impossible to figure it out, that's the part where it really starts to get you mad. Like, it's like, this is just absolutely absurd. I'm trying to consume your product. I'm paying, like, if I go to the store to buy a donut and I paid $2 for a donut, I can get the donut. Like, I'm giving you the money, give me the product, and don't make it difficult for me. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make it better for myself to watch. I'm trying to give you the money you're asking for. Then you start to feel like you're just getting taken advantage of, and that's a terrible feeling. And tell you what, Billy, at some point, if their goal is to drive people back to cable, that's what feels like when it's happening at some point.
Might be doing a good point,
People are just tired of paying. It's not the paying for it. It's tired of having to figure out where everything is. Tired of figuring out what app to move. Tired of having to move with all the streaming services and have to figure out, will I even get what I'm paying for at this point? I mean, it becomes exhausting just to try and entertain yourself. And it makes me want to say, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going to Potawatomi Sportsbook to watch the games. You guys can leave it. You guys can figure it out.
I'm going to go watch the game somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like I'll go. I guess I'll go figure it out. But at some point, make it easy. And now
make it easy. Exactly.
Again, more people are saying that it feels like you could be seeing ESPN starting to have to give way. I mean, they're getting absolutely hammered with negative reaction. People just getting crushed. You're just crushing people on it. I'd be interested to see if anything changes because, again, you missed an entire weekend of college football, and the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. If that was the first hill that they had to get over before saying, well, this is how we're doing business now, that was a hell of a hill to climb over if you're ESPN to hold off on service of the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Woo! Hour 2. This service continues to be free. We hope you join us for hour number 2. It's right after this on The Game.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
The Marquette Golden Eagles get a win last night at Fiserv Forum, 100-82 over Southern University. The win was number 100 at MU for Coach Shaka Smart. Chase Ross led the way with 23 points to go along with his 6 assists and 6 rebounds. The Golden Eagles are in Chicago for their next game Sunday against Indiana at the United Center. Week 10 in the NFL starts tonight, Thursday Night Football. It'll be the Raiders and the Broncos. Denver 7-2. Las Vegas is 2-6. Kickoff is set for 7:15 tonight. And Carolina Panthers running back Rico Dowdle has been fined by the NFL for his so-called two-thrust touchdown celebration. That happened during Sunday's 16-13 upset over the Packers. The fine is for a little over $14,000. Dowdle has set up a GoFundMe account to see if fans will pick up the tab. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Billy and Armen are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on The Game.
920 said, love the content, boys, but can we all agree that Keyshawn Nixon is not a number one corner?
Our cornerback unit, Billy, as a whole, might not be the greatest. I don't think we're going to ever sit around saying this was the best cornerback unit, the position group this Packers team ever had. They do battle out there. They did have some moments where we struggled, but also in a league like this, where there's a lot of passing, that means there's going to be a lot of completions, and a lot of guys are going to be the recipient of a lot of L's, and the receivers.
You're
will
going to
catch
hold a
balls
lot.
on it.
Yes,
Yeah.
no doubt. You're spot on, Armen, and you could not be more accurate here. And I think corner in the National Football League, I get it. Quarterback is the most important position, toughest position, all the mental stuff that you got to go through. From a physically demanding and emotionally testing and trying position, corner is the hardest position to play in the NFL.
Yes.
You are going up against and trying to break up the most expensive pairings in professional sports. Despite the sport, they're going to beat you a number of different times.
Yeah.
So you're going to give up completions, no doubt about it. Now, the one to Roman Wilson, that's a big miss. Like, we can't be letting Roman Wilson get behind us and not know where we are.
Oh, yeah.
That's the issue. But I think on the down in and down out compete factor, like the touchdown to DK Metcalf, what are you supposed to do?
He's a big old boy.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
Animals need friends. For a list of 10 easy things you can do to brighten their lives, please write People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. That's Peter, Norfolk, Virginia, 23510. Thanks.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
This is The Game, home of No BS, DND, and Drew and KB every weekday. Live on the iHeartRadio app and YouTube, Facebook, and X. Just search 97.3 The Game. Let's go.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss why teamwork is really the key to making good music.
What I have realized, and I realized this a long time ago, is that I'm not an island. I think I'm a good captain of a team, and so that I really have to put together the best team I can, and what it takes to get to the Rugby World Cup. Got to have the right guys, and it's the same for making music. You got to put together a sort of entourage of people, not only that you get on with creatively, but that you like, and then you'll make good music. That's how I've always been.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
So let's get together with a glass of Schlitz. Real gusto in a great light. Beer Schlitz.
The beer that made Milwaukee famous simply because it tastes so good.
Snap to Bryce Young, throws right side of the end zone, intercepted, Xavier McKinney. Pass intended for Jimmy Horn to the right corner of the end zone. McKinney with his second interception of the season.
This is No BS with Billy and Armen on Wisconsin's home for the best sports talk and other stuff. The Game.
This week on Faith in the Zone, national radio host, author, and founder of the Man Church, Rick Burgess, will be our special guest. Sunday at 8 a.m. only on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeart Radio app.
Baby, is it cool to touch? Tell a man that you can trust, not just a fool and lust. Coming to get you on the bus is so ironic. Exotic on the verge of erotic. I'm hitting switches on misses like I've been fixed with hydraulics. My up and down like a roller coaster. Gonna get inside you, I ain't stopping till the show is over. Cause I'm erotic, in and out just like a robbery. I'll probably be a freaking let you get on top of me. Either rockin' these nights full of Alizé. A living legend, you ain't heard about them players living Cali days. Dolores Tucker, you were fake to me. Instead of trying to help a brother, wanna take his G's. Mistaking me for Bill Clinton, Mr. Bob Dole.
No BS on the Game. Hour 2 opens up on 1070 The Game in Madison, up in Rhinelander. What's up? 101.3 FM, 1240 AM. And we're live in the Fox Valley in Appleton and Oshkosh on The Score. Love Woodward. Love hanging out with everybody in Appleton and Oshkosh. And love hanging out with you on YouTube and on X. And you can find us there. Also on Facebook today. Appreciate it, Zuckerberg.
We're
For
out there.
Certain days we get on Facebook, certain days we don't. But listen, days that we want to be able to discuss some big news in the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball around our favorite teams, it's a good one to be able to do so. We're going to wake up with our friend Matt LePay, hopefully in about an hour from right now on the game. And there's a lot of different things to discuss, a lot of interesting ones. This one I don't necessarily know how to discuss, so I get as much crowdsourced information as possible, Armin.
Okay.
I get as much information as possible from people that are around the team, try to study the team and cover them as much as possible. I don't know what the loss of Mr. Connor Dawson is going to bring to the Brewers offense. When I first get the report yesterday from Robert Murray that says sources, Kansas City Royals are hiring Connor Dawson to their coaching staff. 32 years old, was hired by the Brewers as their hitting coach in this November of 21. Previously was with the Mariners organization, because Connor Dawson has now been in the Covenant for about 5 years, and all of a sudden gone. And there's a lot of people saying that him and Christian Yelich had a very, very unique relationship, that they would always be a part of their, pregame batting practice routines. I don't know ultimately what hitting coaches do. I do know, right? Like
great way to say it, Billy.
As bad as that sounds, as blanket as it is, you can give as much information as possible. You can look and analyze swings and swing patterns and where you dip in your left shoulder or your lead shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of
video work.
Especially a guy that young. I mean, he's a young guy. He's younger than Yelich. Yeah, 32.
I imagine that's where all of the advanced scouting comes from, right? Like, so I don't know all that it entails to be a hitting coach. I know you do a lot of stuff. A lot of times it would just be, though, team doesn't hit with runners in scoring position for an extended period of time. It's like, well, we should maybe fire the hitting coach, because it's garbage.
It's always the move fans go to.
They also have like 3 or 4 of them now. So there's an offensive coordinator, a run scoring coordinator, a hitting coach, an assistant hitting coach. So I don't know where all of them come into and where the rank and file runs down, and what you get more opportunities as the lead, and what grunt work you get thrown at more when you're at a certain spot. But I know Connor Dawson's been a part of the team now for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Their offense has been better over the last 2 or 3 years, albeit in the NLCS, one of the reasons why they're out. But I don't know how to feel about this one. You win 97 games, a lot of teams are going to be interested in grabbing some of your guys. We talked about it with Tim Allen right after the Brewers got bounced as to would there be any coaching staff changes. Well, he didn't think that it would happen from the Brewers making moves and subtracting, but sometimes you have to subtract because he's going to go get an addition, and I would assume a pay raise with the Kansas City Royals.
It's a great point, Billy. And the relationship between fans and hitting coaches has always been a very irregular thing, as you noted, right? I mean, rarely do you get to hear fans giving a lot of props to the hitting coach when the team's hitting well. Rarely. I have some of the best hitters and offensive teams. No one was talking about their hitting. Now, a lot of times you do get pretty educated fans that give props to pitching coaches when the pitching goes well. Don't you agree? I mean, you hear a lot of, Chris Hook and Derek Johnson. These guys have been great. And Mike Maddox was back in the day. But you don't hear that about hitting. When did we hear about hitting coaches? It was like, this team hits terrible. Why is Butch Weininger still our hitting coach?
Yes.
It was always like the Butch Weiningers of the world. Now, as you said, Billy, Connor Dawson's a young guy. Are we talking about? He's 32 years old. He's younger than a lot of the players in Major League Baseball. He was also a guy that was hired, I think, after he was a college coach for a few years, to the Mariners organization as the minor league coach. So this is 19. So we're talking about a guy at 26 was hired by a Major League organization out of a community college in Kansas, and I think a high school. So this guy obviously does something that turns the heads of very important people in baseball, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Major League organizations are just looking at high school coaches and saying, we'll give him a shot. Like, there's a reason this guy was going to be our hitting coach. As you said, the Brewers' offense has improved under his tutelage, you would think, or whatever, under his tenure at least. So the question is, okay, was that corollary? We don't really know. But there's obviously something there with it. Now, the relationship between hitting, I'll be honest with you, I look at Connor Dawson, he looks like an IT guy. He looks like a guy, IT guy. Looks like a guy maybe working as a barista, making like a Dungeons and Dragons reference, making, throwing me off with the headband or with the headlight thing, little sweatband he's wearing in some of these pictures.
Like a sweatband with the little light on the front?
With the goggles. Like, I don't know.
I get that,
is he checking out, gems? Is this a guy that's doing gemology? I'm not hating against it. You know me, I'm a dork. I love it, but it is such a unique thing he's got the beard going on and stuff like that. And this guy might be one of the hottest sought after hitting coaches in baseball. So is this something I'm going to freak out about? No. I mean, let's be quite honest with you. A lot of these guys are generally anonymous figures to a lot of people, and we don't really know how to quantify their actual impact. But I think you said it best, Billy, and this is the reality. When you have success, a lot of your guys are going to be trying to get picked off by other organizations or trying to say, hey, we want to identify this guy. The Brewers are doing something right. The Brewers are the playbook to small market success. We're going to try and pick up all their guys. All I know is like, you don't know the hitting coach usually until something goes wrong. And we were not thinking about Connor Dawson that much. Unless your name's Dave Gasper, you probably weren't thinking about him that much. And just it's the same with Andy Haynes. I mean, I remember
100%.
Andy Haynes had all this sort of conversation around him when the Brewers have a couple bad weeks. And then I go back to Butch Weiniger. So it is interesting. Like you said, Billy, I don't know how to feel about it. If the relationship thing with Yelich is true, then we'll miss him because Yelich has had a big improvement the last couple of years.
But then I go like they got Al LaBeouf, who's the lead hitting coach.
Right.
Connor Dawson, who's one of the hitting coaches. Eric Thiessen, who's another hitting coach. Like they got so many different people that are a part of it. And I don't know exactly where the cutoff is. Like,
yes.
As to, are you responsible for 6 guys in the cage every day? Or do you go through a 7 or 8 guy deal? And these are the players that you're going to watch and monitor. And then in the middle of, May, if we're not getting the results we want, well, how about we all get a different set of eyes on here and you look at his swing and see? But you mentioned it with the relationships. That's what this ultimately comes down to.
Yeah.
Like if it's a position coach in football or a player development coach in the NBA, because they have like 15 coaches for 12 players. You have like the one guy that you're with every single day that knows you better than probably anybody else on staff, that ends up becoming more of your confidant. And for Dawson in particular, makes a little bit more sense if like, that he is a Kansas guy and this is probably the job that he's always wanted. Right? Like maybe you could tie it together as to, okay,
going home, favorite team, all that
favorite
stuff.
team. That makes a lot of sense. And congratulations to him. But from just a Brewer standpoint, that there's going to be teams that want to try to find any piece of your secret sauce that you've put on this $115 million payroll and made it a perennial division championship team. I would have anticipated most of the poaching would be for Chris Hook. Was wondering if any of the poaching would come for Ricky Weeks.
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Weeks is mum's the word, like nothing. I haven't heard anything, and I don't know that anybody has reported that he's interviewed or had interviewed for any of the managerial jobs. I wouldn't anticipate he's going to be someone else's bench coach when you're the associate manager here.
Yeah, you have to assume he's getting good money.
And they got a multiple year extension for Chris Hook, I believe, last year when our friend Mark Belling came in and said, hey, they're going to lock up that pitching coach, right? And we're like, yeah,
one of the best days of my life.
It was one of the coolest things that ever happened to us in our professional radio lives.
Yeah.
We got talk Brewers with Mark Belling. That was awesome.
He sought us out.
He came to us. We were the information folks for that conversation.
That was great.
So you get into the nuts and bolts of it. I know his impact. We see it day in and day out with random DFA'd reliever here comes here and all of a sudden, oh wow, that sinker's a real weapon now. We're finding a couple more MPH on that fastball and we're raising the target of it. And the arm slot definitely has worked with Chris Hook, and now he's one of our leverage guys.
Spin rate and all these things that they find a way to do, right?
And maybe it's just because you're going to have more success as a pitcher, hopefully, than you will as a hitter. Best hitters still going to get out 7 out of 10 times.
Sure.
Hard for me to always identify what the hitting coach is doing.
That's the thing.
You
It's
can
hard to
feel you
quantify.
can always see pitching coach, he's making a difference. Hitting coach is going to be a different deal.
Yeah. Now, there's a few things also I think about when it comes to this, and this is just where my mind goes. First thing is, Billy, tell me what you think. Knowing that there is this is going to sound weird, knowing that there's a certain amount of unknown with what you just said, what they actually do. If I had to tell you, okay, we talked about how we have to save money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're backing up the Brinks truck for one guy, it's in the assistant coach realm, it's Chris Hook, right?
Yeah.
That's the one guy you're saving money on. Okay, right. The other thing is, and this is just where I go to because we have a limited knowledge of what actually the impact is. I wish him luck, but I also trust our organizational knowledge to be able to replace him with someone talented. Like you just at this point, as a Brewers fan, with how solid they've been organizationally, you just trust them implicitly to find a good replacement, the right guy, and to make it work. And also, Billy, I do like the fact that we've reached the point now where I'm actually slightly bummed to have lost a hitting coach.
Bummed to lose a hitting coach. That's a good thing.
Let's go. We have not been in a situation where we've lost a hitting coach and it's been kind of a sad thing. Like we like, you know what I mean? It's been like, yes, Butch Weiner's gone or something. Like we have been like, oh, we got to get a new hitting coach because our hitting doesn't work. Like don't hits.
Armen's the LeBron meme right now in the pool. Oh my God, I can't believe this is our life.
This is us. We're actually bummed for a second to lose a hitting coach.
Used to dream of days like this, where all of a sudden the rest of the league looked at you as the envy of the league. Hey, they know more than we do. So we need to squeeze more out of these lemons like they are and make some more lemonade. And now we've seen different teams do it. Obviously, the Cubs did twice.
Yes, with
Craig and Quentin Berry.
Quentin Berry. Yes,
now,
exactly.
Q, I think they wanted to get right out of the gates, but they weren't going to be able to because of the contract that the Brewers already had with them. But like, I'm fascinated to see if it is a game-changing move or if all of a sudden, all right, well, somebody from AAA that knows all of these guys as well just comes up. Yeah, and it is a relationship deal. No doubt about it. Red Hot Tim Knott said, wait a second. He was Yelich's hitting coach in the playoffs? Sorry, Kansas City. Dawson's about to ruin Bobby Witt Jr.
Here we go. Yeah, I know. But listen, Yelich.
Any chance he could take Yelich with him? Sure, he had a great regular season, but he's a liability in the playoffs.
Oh, man. I did not want that to be the narrative.
920. Well, he really got Vaughn's hitting dialed in.
Listen, you know what, though? I can't dispute it. Like, Yelich struggled a lot in the playoffs. But he did have a couple of really good years of improvement. You know, obviously.
Big time. Yeah, no doubt.
But he did struggle in the playoffs. Oh, man.
That's where, again, like, and we talked about this when I think it was the day that you were off when Tim Allen was in here, fresh off of either right after the Brewers got bounced or going into Game 3, where it felt like we're staring down the barrel, knowing exactly what's about to happen.
It was just a blur.
We didn't know that it was we were gonna get Ohtani'd and have 3 bombs and 6 scoreless innings thrown on you, but like it was gonna be a potentially tough day. In 2020 or 2018, they go to the NLCS. And they make multiple coaching moves after. We're like, well, that's kind of puzzling. And closest to the World Series you've been in.
There's a lot.
30 years.
We all thought that was a little weird, right?
Now you're going to move around the coaching staff. So I asked Timmy, I'm like, what would be the moves that could potentially happen on this staff? And these were the kinds of things you thought of. Like, oh, well, their offense wasn't great at the end of the day. Maybe that falls on Al LaBeouf. Maybe it's Connor Dawson. Now instead it's a good thing. He gets to go home and enjoy. Now maybe it was, hey, Connor, what happened to Andrew Vaughn? Why don't you go find another gig? I would be floored if that was the way that conversation went. However, you could also look at inquisiting minds could think and say, yeah, maybe I'm going to head out. 4 runs in 4 games. Yeah, maybe I'm going to strike while the iron is hot with 97 wins.
I think it's more likely the latter. I mean, how many people are really looking at a small sample size of a few games and saying, even though they were the most important games, I get that. And sitting there saying, well, look, this guy's a problem. I mean, if he was the coach or a coach presiding over a team that over the course of 6 months, you know, scored the most runs in baseball, I would think there's something good going on there.
It's a very level-headed.
Well, you know, I try to be
conscious thought. That's always how owners and decision makers are thinking in pro sports.
Right. Especially when it's the emotions of a loss is fresh on your mind. And, you know, you're thinking we need to get some more playoff players in here.
Got to get more playoff players in here. Maybe we got to get more playoff coaches in here. Maybe that's the deal. Maybe Connor Dawson is just not a playoff coach.
But there was an incredible, as the season went on, there was an incredible level of competence between the entire lineup, except for Joey Ortiz. I'll admit that. When you look at OPSs and numbers and things like that, almost everybody was good to a certain level of floor. Like there wasn't that many guys dropping off on the floor when you look at this lineup. I mean, even Contreras had his OPS up to 750 after a tough start. Every guy had a pretty good year to really good in that lineup, and that consistency is really what helped the Brewers. But yes, Billy, the playoffs, and that's what we remember, unfortunately. Ran into the buzzsaw, however you want to look at it. So I would be interested how you have to, you go to an job interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, give me 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses, 3 things you'd like to see yourself work on, 3 things you'd think would help the organization. Well, I really think my work speaks for itself in how the lineup improved this year. I got really good, helped really get really good years out of guys. We played to their strengths and not their weaknesses. Some things you'd like to work on. Well, unfortunately, it didn't sustain the playoffs, and I think that's the focus for the next.
In some way, I'd like to score more than 1 run a game in the NLCS.
Yeah. In some ways, I'd like to, trying to help guys that are not as talented, like Joey Ortiz, hit better. That's a good way to put the blame on somebody else in the interview.
Oh, 100%. Or, you always do in one of those interviews is you just say the most positive thing about you as a weakness.
Yeah.
Well, one of my weaknesses, I
work too hard.
I just work way too hard.
I work too hard. I don't give
have
myself
no work-life balance, and I just throw myself into my profession. It's really a problem.
I tend to be a perfectionist. One thing I'd like to do is embrace the idea that maybe not everything goes right all the time, and I have to respond to adversity and give myself a little grace when things are out of my control. But that's how you do it, right, Billy?
I personally beat myself up in situations where I know I could be better, but I then quickly rebound, and that's the issue. I want to sit in the sulking a little bit more so I can always have positive.
I tend not to celebrate my own successes enough. I tend to look at the negatives. Even though we had a guy named Andrew Vaughn who was complete cheeks and on the scrap heap, and I made him into an 869 OPS hitter,
and may have gotten him a contract extension.
I do think to myself, maybe I could have done a little more for him on that one day, and those things keep me up at night.
Are you guys getting ready for future interviews or anything here? Because you sound good.
I love being here, so I'm happy to be here. It's not, but those are the things you always learned about when you were a kid. In entrepreneurship.
And you got to have
class,
questions. You got to bring questions.
Interview class, things like that.
And then you got to throw them a curveball, like when they say, "Do you have any questions?" at the end, and say, "Okay, if there's a water cooler in the office, who fills that up?"
Yeah.
If not, I'll do it.
I love that.
No, I don't want to. I just want to make sure somebody else is doing it. But I just want to leave you with the thought of, hey, man, I'm an inquisitive cat.
No, but Luddy, you got to be kidding me, man. We got Geezer Palooza in 9 years.
Yeah, we're
loaded up.
We're not trying to go anywhere.
No, we're loaded up, man.
We're not trying to go anywhere. Now, granted, they might tell us to go somewhere else, but we'll figure it out. 877-794-1973. One thing that's not changing is we're going to be back on the other side. That's Armen Sorry, and I'm Billy Schmid. It's 877-794-1973 on the game.
I'm in the Mudville night, watching it from the fence. I took some lumps when the mighty case struck out. Whatever it takes.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Any carry now could be for the record. Bollinger under his center. Casey Robach takes. Gives it to Dane. Straight ahead. Dane across the 20. He's to the 25. Cuts right. Dane to the 30. 35. Dane across the 40. Dane across the 45-yard line. And there it is. Ron Dane has become the NCAA's all-time career rushing leader.
Nobody likes you when you're 23. And you still act like you're a freshman year. What the hell is wrong with me? My friends say I should have my age. That's about the time that she broke up with me. No one should take themselves so seriously. With many years ahead to fall in line. Why would you wish down on me? I never want to act my age. What's my age again? What's my age again?
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
He was everything you wanted in a sportsman, and he broke the barrier, and we created out of that the Sportsman of the Year concept, and he was our first Sportsman of the Year, and he was exactly what we wanted.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
Released late in 1977, Saturday Night Fever soundtrack dominated the charts in 1978. Just imagine shaking your booty on a lighted dance floor to Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
I'm from Milwaukee and I ought to know.
why Black's beer tastes great wherever you go. All Black's is draft brewed, that's why you hear.
Black's is Milwaukee's finest beer.
Draft brewed Black's, Milwaukee's favorite premium beer. Now at local prices.
Touchdown, Wisconsin!
Join us Saturday. Wisconsin returns home to host Washington. Our coverage begins at 1:30
On Milwaukee's home for Wisconsin Badger football. 95.7 Big FM.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
The Milwaukee Admirals wrap up a 4-game homestand on Friday night when they host the Rockford Ice Hogs at Panther Arena. From the far circle, slot Carr, shoots, scores! Happy birthday, Daniel Carr! Pre-game coverage at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Friends, whatever your particular music taste, you'll find records for your listening pleasure at conveniently located Lingenfelder's Music Shop. And at Lingenfelder's, you serve yourself from an enormous stock of your favorite recording stars. There's music for you at Lingenfelder's in the heart of the Mitchell Street shopping area, 1204 West Mitchell. That's Lingenfelder's, another Walkie Hit Parade official survey center. Lucky Logan breezing along till 1 o'clock with music from Walkie's Family Hit Parade.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Hit as he throws, has the ball. It is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Monday night, the Packers take on the Eagles at Lambeau. Hear all the action on 95.7 Big FM. Presented by Robert Hack Diamonds. They buy gold. See them in Brookfield or Greenfield.
No BS on the game. Billy Ansarian with you. That's Armen Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. Now, this from the world of the NHL might be one of the funnier stories and funnier moments to witness. Armen, I don't know how much of the Washington Capitals against the St. Louis Blues you caught last night.
I know what we're going to talk about, but I didn't see it live, even though I was thinking about Caps money line.
Oh, okay. That would listen.
I took a trip down yesterday to make a wager on the Billy's parlay of the day at Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Sorry about that one.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I was fully engaged in the agency of my own decisions, but we'll talk about that later. But I was looking at Caps money line. You know, I was thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't pull the trigger, but I was thinking about it. But something interesting happened in this game, which I kind of enjoyed. Yeah,
Alexander Ovechkin becomes the first player in NHL history to score 900 goals. Now, he broke Wayne Gretzky's goal streak or goal record last year. So,
which was something a lot of people thought would never be done.
Never be touched.
You know, so pretty impressive stuff by Ovi and all that, you know.
So now in his final season, he's trying to set that number as far away as he possibly could so nobody ever breaks it and somebody ultimately will. But when he puts number 900 in the back of the net yesterday.
That's wild work, 900. I mean, that's just a wild number for goals. I'm sorry.
A crazy number.
Crazy number.
Crazy number.
It makes you wonder, will everyone ever get a full G of goals? I mean, it could happen now. I mean, there are some things you never thought would happen, not to hijack what you're about to say here, Billy, but that is a crazy, crazy number, 900.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
And now I don't know all the ins and outs of the NHL offensive changes and tweaks to the rules. I do think they're going to turn themselves a little bit, not full into the NFL, but you're going to see more rules that probably favor offense. You've already seen a number of those, and offense is awesome. Like their sport right now is as good as it has ever been with the talent and speed of the players.
I have to agree.
Now, also maybe with the wittiness of the goaltenders. Jordan Binnington, longtime goalie in the NHL, goalie for the St. Louis Blues, may have given up goal number 900, but he wasn't leaving without a little piece of the history.
Tasty fella, isn't he? And he does some things. Watch this. After the goal is scored, he's got the puck. Watch what he does with the puck. He's going to keep it in his pants. I don't know if he wants to sell it on the open market or not.
Is it worth more or less now?
That puck from Binnington, but that is until linesman Michel Cormier came over and said, "Hey, we know you got the puck, buddy."
Good job catching that. There's cameras everywhere, guys.
Tremendous.
His eBay account would have been popping off after this game that he pulled that heist off.
All of the officials come over and say, "Hey, B, we know what you're doing over here, man.
That's awesome.
Let's see that. Let's see that puck." I like Jordan Binnington. He's like, "Okay, sweet. You might be able to put this thing into the net, but I'm gonna get the last laugh.
I'm getting the last laugh, and
I'm getting the cash."
And it's funny and it's playful, and it in a lot of ways it shows a little sportsmanship, if that makes sense, Billy. Like it shows respect to him by saying, like, we know what you did here. I'm gonna have fun, play with you here, but this is just my way to say, way to go, buddy. Good props, and I'm just gonna be playful here. I think that's so cool when you can see those kind of lines be kind of broken. You know, there are lines drawn in professional sports. It's competition. It's feral. Everyone's playing at the highest level, but when you can kind of show that sort of level of kind of, frivolousness and joking and in like a lot of ways respect, I just thought it was great. I thought it was funny. Hockey guys are always funny, right? We know this working around the Admirals. Good. Hockey guys are always funny. They're always kind of salt of the earth guys. So that was some cool stuff.
The comments, though, is on fire on this post. Are we sure he didn't rob the Louvre?
Oh, yes. I mean, it was that easy. So
that instantly is right into the pocket. Also, goated level of pettiness, and I'm here for it. I think it's more onto your side. It's more of like an honor. But it is the thought of,
it's cool.
This son of a gun really thinks that he's going to sneak one by me. Well, take that. I'm going to put this down my pants.
Yeah, by the way, I'm just keeping this, just so you know. I'm going to sell it and everything like that. Honestly, it also makes me think of one of the funnier things in sports, and we see it in baseball, where like, okay, there's an out, right? So the ball's being thrown to first, whatever. It's a force play, and the ump takes his time to officially call the out, but until you show him the ball, right? He's like, I want to make sure I see the ball in your glove, and then I'll call the out. Like, well, where'd you think it went? You think the thing just disappeared? You think it doesn't exist? And that's what happened. I'm sorry. I'm going to make this reference. This is what happened in Mighty Ducks 2.
There we go.
When against Iceland, when Julie makes the final save, she caught it in her glove, and everyone's there waiting, like that pause, like, where's the puck? Did she save it or not? I'm like, well, you would have known because it would have hit the back of the net. It would have. It didn't just. I get why it's a dramatic thing to see her flip the puck out of her glove. It was one of the most electric moments in cinematic history. But
was it actually?
If you didn't think that she saved it, what were you thinking? The puck's not in the net. So just a little thing that always not bothered me, but was something I noticed that I thought was a little bit silly.
Yeah, not as dramatic as Buddy robs a home run and you wait to see if he can pull it out of the glove because he reached over the wall and you can't see anything.
That being said, Binnington, that's hilarious. I loved it. I if there's anyone that actually didn't like it, I'd be surprised. Thought it was.
I would like to know the intention though. Was he thinking,
to sell this bad boy?
I'm going to sell this bad boy, and it is going to make all of this. Now, there are also some people who, tinfoil hat style,
oh no,
after the last couple of weeks said, my man comes out of the net on the possession. Maybe he was just trying to bait him in. Maybe he was waiting to try to see if Ovi would get it, grabbed the puck, had an extra one already in his pants, gave away the fake puck, holding on to puck 900 still until after.
Some guy at the Wrigley bleachers out there.
That would be genius.
To switch pucks,
little sleight of hand. Oh yeah, here's that puck. Here's that 900th puck as it's still sitting in the back here. Now I might give up 3 more goals because I got to wait on my ass.
I don't think
he's gonna be playing.
I don't think old boy's sitting with a piece of vulcanized rubber right cheek the whole game just to wait for that to happen. I don't think. Here's the other problem with that, Billy. It doesn't do him any good because, as you know, if you're following like Darren Ravel and all these important collectible guys, you got to get that thing authenticated.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's going to get it authenticated, but it's going to be in his possession. He's going to say, possession's 9/10 of the law. No, but sucks to suck, Ovi. Puck you.
Wouldn't the switch puck be the one that's getting authenticated?
They all got the real barcode on them.
Okay, maybe you're right.
By the time they go to take the authentication,
the sticker,
and they give it to the guy,
be
like, wait a second,
this isn't the right.
This is an imposter.
Well, how do you know they're all black? I mean, are they the little numbers on the pucks? I didn't know that.
There's an identification way, yeah. Okay. Just like every baseball that comes out of the Rawlings box has 108 seams.
But sometimes they photo match.
But they find a way to identify it. Yeah, and they know exactly where that ball was.
Well, but
they'll know which puck it is.
There's authenticators in the stadium. They come running over and they want. That is a good point, actually. I mean, you have to have the right smudges on the baseball. It's hard on a hockey puck to see all that stuff. I'm just saying.
Just think.
I've been up close and personal with hockey pucks before. I do. We're with the Admirals around the ice and stuff like that. But you know what? That would be a brilliant move by Binnington. If that was his motivation,
that would be
I'd
awesome.
give him a lot of credit. But amazing. It makes you think about the records that are broken that you never thought would be broken and the ones you still insist wouldn't be broken. And this is like a very popular topic. People like to think about like what record would never be broken and things like that. But 900 goals, man, is something special.
Tim asked, I didn't see the video. Did he put it right by his pucker or did he put it by his pucket? It's back by the pucket. Back near the hind parts is where he goes and slides that puck into.
You know what, though? I don't know. I don't know if that was like a name of a pad or something like that. Did I miss? I'm just being a dork. And I didn't know that was like the name. Okay.
920 Billy, the old goalie puck swapperoo. That was my first thought, actually. So, okay, sweet. So I wasn't the only one. He's got sleight of hand saying, oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, here's that game winner. Here it is. And then all of a sudden, him and Ovi are going to be hanging out. I don't know. Is Binnington Canadian? I'm just going to guess most of them are Canadian.
Binnington probably is.
You guys maybe when. Oh, no, but he wouldn't be playing there. He'd be playing for the Russian team. Maybe they'll be playing somehow a Four Nations face-off. And everybody's hanging out, having a couple of cold drinks before the game, before the tourney starts up. Hanging out on the pond. He goes, hey, Ovi, by the way, there's your puck. You've been sitting with an imposter for the last 4 months. You've been sitting
with it. That'd be pretty epic. They actually, they're all drinking. He puts it on the bar.
Kidding me, dude?
That's the actual puck. That's the one.
I've got the only thing that's sitting in my house, because remember, one of the number one things that pro athletes say is, I don't know where any of that stuff is.
No, because actually they know. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where any of that stuff is. It's the only thing I got sitting up on my mantle at home is the 900th goal. And you're going to be telling me that I've been looking at a fake puck the whole time?
Or the private equity investor that sold it, that bought it. The private equity guy.
That's true. Yeah, it's sitting in some hedge fund manager's office at home.
Richmond Hill, Ontario, of course. Yes, he's from, there you go, Billy, Canada. Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Chuck in West Bend. Thanks for ruining Mighty Ducks 2 for me, Armin. Had that bad boy dialed in for this weekend.
I knew it. I knew there was one guy that was going to say, spoiler alert from 94. The statute of limitations only lasted 31 years because you were about to watch. I had Mighty Ducks 2 ready to go on the VHS for 30. I couldn't find time for 31 years.
Well, hopefully nobody ruins It's a Wonderful Life for me this year, because I do think I'm actually going to watch it coming up on Christmas.
Now we're coming. Now that's.
I think I'm actually going to watch it coming up on
Christmas Story is better.
Get out of town. Get out of town.
Okay.
Yeah. Aaron in Carolina.
You have the right to feel that way, but I disagree. I have the right to react to it. Sorry. This
is a segment for another day as we get closer to Christmas time.
I didn't want you. You know what? I kind of feel bad. I really jumped on Luddy there, Billy.
It's okay. I will. I'll get my pros and cons ready for you.
You instantly felt so much regret for how hard you went in that take, but I'm with you. I think that movie's cheeks.
Really?
I think that movie's so overrated.
The story is overrated.
I gotta watch it all day on Christmas.
Thank you. It moves too slow.
Why, again, thank God for the NFL putting games on Christmas.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
As much as the NBA was there, my family would always say, do we really need to watch the Spurs and Knicks? Yeah. I got a first basket score on that.
You gotta watch them.
All right. Yes, we gotta watch this game. If you give me a second, then we can maybe flip the channel. But then we're gonna watch the Christmas Story for the 900th time. Guess what? He's gonna come down in the bunny suit. Oh God, that's hilarious. And he's gonna shoot your eye out, kid. No.
All right, no spoilers for Billy on Christmas.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, but
that's the one with the wings, right?
Yeah, so basically,
black and white.
You
really not enjoy that?
It's hard to say that there's a spoiler.
Well, I've been told that I'm going to enjoy it more than any other movie that I've seen. Because every single year it's, you haven't seen that?
I haven't seen it either.
You haven't seen that movie? It's a classic.
That's right. Classic. Attaboy, Clarence. Attaboy, Clarence. That's right, Susie. Attaboy, Clarence.
Chris and the Ben, this sounds like a Nicolas Cage got to have a worldwide adventure to find the original hockey puck. National treasure, pond hockey trophy.
That may be it. That might be it. Attaboy, Clarence.
877-794-1973.
Didn't you ever follow along, though, when Seth Davis would live tweet it every Christmas Eve?
No, I don't follow Seth Davis for my own personal health.
You know what? You probably don't follow Seth Davis. I mean, I followed him from years ago, college basketball, but Seth Davis live tweets it every Christmas. I don't even do that with Home Alone. So give me a little credit.
That's true. You don't even do it with Home Alone.
Give me a little
Are
credit.
you going to the Home Alone 2 with the orchestra song?
At the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. I'm trying to figure out if they're actually going to screen the movie, though, or if it's just going to be the music.
I think either way, you're going to have a phenomenal time.
I want to go real bad. I told Laura I want to go to this. I want to go to this thing. And Home Alone 2, I think, is interesting because that's different music. And so,
yeah, everyone thinks so, too. But you know what? Everybody wants to go into hour number 3 when Matt LePay joins this conversation. And we're going to make the conversation professional when Matt LePay joins us. We're not going to be talking about pucks in people's pants when Matt LePay joins us coming up in 25 minutes. We're going to be talking pigskin and hoops as Badgers basketball fires up this week. Badgers are back on the football field this weekend, and the 23rd ranked Washington Huskies come to Camp Randall Stadium, preview that game, amongst other things, with our friend Matt LePay coming up at 8. We're back before then. It's No BS on the Game.
I want to tell you about my new obsession, Daisy French onion dip. One of my guilty pleasures while watching, one of my guilty pleasures during football season or during Christmas movie season is eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching the big game. And now Daisy came out with a delicious Daisy French onion dip and a Daisy Ranch dip, and these are game changers. They're as delicious as any homemade dips, and they're made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. So give Daisy French onion dip a try. Look for Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
The Marquette Golden Eagles get a win last night at Fiserv Forum, 100-82 over Southern University. The win was number 100 at MU for Coach Shaka Smart. Chase Ross led the way with 23 points to go along with his 6 assists and 6 rebounds. The Golden Eagles are in Chicago for their next game Sunday against Indiana at the United Center. Week 10 in the NFL starts tonight, Thursday Night Football. It'll be the Raiders and the Broncos. Denver 7-2. Las Vegas is 2-6. Kickoff is set for 7:15 tonight. In Carolina Panthers, running back Rico Dowdle has been fined by the NFL for his so-called two-thrust touchdown celebration. That happened during Sunday's 16-13 upset over the Packers. Fine is for a little over $14,000. Dowdle has set up a GoFundMe account to see if fans will pick up the tab. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS. We'll be back in just a moment.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack. Flashback.
Put on your Vans because we're going back to 1982. The soundtrack to Fast Times at Ridgemont High contained the biggest names of the decade. One standout, Somebody's Baby by Jackson Brown.
She's probably somebody's only light, gonna shine tonight. Yeah, she's probably somebody.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Alzheimer's disease is the 6th leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a #1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to #5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a #3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a #1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough
and Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974. Coming up.
You are listening to The Game.
You'll never forget your discovery of Blatz either. For Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer.
Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer, Gus Dudgeon, and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up, and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie Taupin. And he would give me a lyric. And I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant, and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic. And I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then, could I wake the band up, because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe we write two, but mostly one. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Oh, the password? Listerine enzyme toothpaste. Come on in, friend. Thank you, boy.
Haven't we had some wonderful anniversaries?
Yes, we have.
And the wonderful thing about it is that we wouldn't have had nearly as many of them if we hadn't been married as long as we have.
Message marked urgent. We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
From the top, she's got a body like an hourglass, ticking like a clock. It's a matter of time before we all run out. When I thought he was mine, she caught him by the mouth. I waited a long while, she finally set him free. I told him I couldn't lie, he was the only one for me. 2 weeks and we caught on fire. She scared it out for me, but I wear the biggest smile. Whoa, whatever makes it break, but I got it where I want it now.
You think you get what you want when you have the book on your side, and then you realize that, wait, you could have somebody else's money on the line. 877-794-1973. That in 1 second. I'm Billy Schmidt. That is Armen Sari and Andrew Ludwig spinning hot stacks.
Good bangers. You even had a Tupac song earlier, which I appreciated. Ludwig,
How Do You Want It by Tupac.
Yeah. Yep. Because you're more of a classic rock guy. Is that fair to say?
No, it's fair. Yeah.
Which I like.
I grew up with 70s and 80s rock being played around me, so
You got an
it's just by
old musical
osmosis.
soul.
You said that to me in the past too. Yeah.
Good old musical soul.
But every
which is a
now
good thing.
when you throw down something from me, my youth.
I mean, I grew up in the 2000s. I remember the good tunes of those eras.
I enjoy it. So.
Yeah, that'll fire you up. Sorry, that'll get you juiced up. Now, just like any sports betting potential controversy business story is going to tickle my fancy.
It's going to tickle your fancy. It's going to warm your cockles, maybe.
Well, this one's hot. Now, ESPN Bet had been one of the newest innovations in the sports gaming industry, if that's the easiest way to say it. The newest, quickest, hottest is hard to say because it just got a ton of conversation because it was on ESPN.
I think that's what made it really symbolic.
Would always be up and be discussed on.
And really symbolic for many people in that a lot of people still look at the four-letter network as the
holy grail of sports conversation.
Yeah. The standard.
The Vatican of sports conversation.
The Vatican, the paper of record, so to speak, for sports. And once they started putting up lines, it was like, all right, we fully crossed the Rubicon. We fully entered the threshold that sports betting and sports media are now intertwined together. Even though it always kind of was and no one talked about it, it was fully out there. And that was like, all right, it's like official now,
So ESPN Bet was backed by the Penn Entertainment Group, which again, the people that are kind of around sports gambling, you've heard a couple of these names, and sports entertainment and sports broadcasting. Penn Entertainment was also the company that had owned Barstool Sports for a number of years.
For a hot minute, yeah.
And then Dave Portnoy bought it back. Didn't want to be a part of the Barstool Sportsbook. And then they went and got a deal with DraftKings. And Barstool has been with DraftKings for a year and a half now, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little shorter, but I think around a year and a half is about fair to say.
Yeah.
And when Penn Entertainment then was done with the Barstool Sportsbook, the sponsored and trademarked sportsbook, they had to go find a different one. Now they jumped on ESPN, and it was ESPN Bet, and reportedly now they have mutually agreed to end their exclusive U.S. online sports betting agreement a full 7 years ahead of schedule.
It's a wild buyout, right? Because they had a 10-year deal, right, Billy, in 23?
A 10-year deal in 2023.
Wow.
Penn paid ESPN $150 million annually for media and marketing services, as well as the exclusive rights to use ESPN Bet trademark. The 10-year deal also include warrants for ESPN to purchase Penn stock, also a clause allowing either side to exit after 3 years if the current market share thresholds weren't met.
Well, there's your escape hatch.
Well, there's your escape patch. And as Penn Entertainment president and CEO, your boy Jay Snowden said, when we first introduced our partnership with ESPN, both sides made it clear that we expected to compete for a podium position in the space. Although we made significant progress in improving our product, offering and building a cohesive ecosystem with ESPN, we have mutually and amicably agreed to wind down our collaboration.
This is like a mutual breakup letter. We've decided to mutually part ways, and it's like everyone's tagged, in the Instagram
Snowden
post.
And said Penn will now focus on its growing iCasino business and leverage an advantage as a leading regional casino operator. Also confirmed plans to rebrand its online U.S. sportsbook betting product to the Score Bet, beginning December 1st, 2025, coinciding with an expected launch of a legalized sports betting in Missouri. The Score Bet operates in Ontario, and Penn plans to unify its online platforms across North America. So, yeah, we were with ESPN for a while.
We didn't get to the top, which was our goal away.
We didn't get to the top right away. So, yeah, we're going to get out of this. Now, I also see this from the ESPN side. $150 million annually? $150 million? That was it? I would have anticipated it would have been
interesting,
much, much more that ESPN was bringing back for simply the amount of space and
they got a lot of it.
But just recognizable trademark opportunities that the product got. Now, with them being at the ground floor with them, there's a reason why that it would build up and build up and build up.
Sure.
And then to try to have ESPN have a vested stake in it. I would have thought ESPN's getting way more to have their name on a sports betting platform and a sports book. But hey, now they are going to quickly pivot, and they have announced that they are going to get into an exclusive landmark betting agreement with the aforementioned DraftKings.
Yeah, I mean, I have a limited knowledge about what the fair market value or fair price would be to have something like that. But you're right, Billy. The brand is incredible. And, 10 years, so that's $2 billion over 10 years.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
That's
huge
a lot of money.
Yep.
I don't care who you are. But when you start thinking in those realms of it, the brand, the betting, what we're involved with gambling here. So it could have been a lot more, maybe. I get your point, but how much does that really give advantage to Penn versus ESPN? I really don't know. But yeah, that's a good point, Billy. It could have been a lot more. Maybe this was maybe they looked at this as like a trial run. Like, we're going to give it a 3-year shot type of thing. This is our escape hatch. If we're not FanDuel or DraftKings by then, or like BetMGM or something like, one of the big
If we
brands.
haven't taken over the space, we can pivot away. And Jimmy Bottaro kind of said a similar thing in his statement. ESPN chairman said, together ESPN and Penn created a truly unique offering with unparalleled integrations across our various media assets. ESPN drove over 2.9 million users to the Penn ecosystem with a strong uptick in sports first-time bettors this fall. We appreciate the collaboration that we had with Penn and are now pursuing other media and marketing opportunities within the space. And they very quickly found another one, as I mentioned, with DraftKings. And I thought the other part of it was And maybe it has something to do with it and it's not written about right away, or maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. Because I do know that there's like a certain number and a certain threshold of a percentage that, like, as much as teams can take the advertising dollars from any casino or sports book in the state, like Potawatomi Sportsbook, or in the northern part of the state, Oneida Sportsbook would be another one that the Green Bay Packers can be a part of. At least Mark Florio has mentioned it a couple of times, that there's a certain level of monetary investment that they can have in the actual business itself. Like a small potential stakeholdership in that building. I thought maybe this had something to do with, Armen, the deal that ESPN and the NFL negotiated earlier this year for the media rights deal, where they gave a certain portion of their product and their holdings to the NFL.
Sure.
I had wondered if that was also a part of this exact deal.
And it gets very incestuous when you think about who owns what and what the partnerships are and who's kind of,
and what's legal and what's not.
And it does really it makes your head spin a little bit. And then I'll admit, and I'm never one for conspiracies. You guys that watch Dateline all the time, but I'll admit that it does start to make you wonder, okay, NFL's got a big deal going with the ESPN. ESPN has a big deal betting going, and then you see things pop up, and you see Chauncey Billups, and you start to wonder, Billy. And it's understandable why some people take it to that level, because it's not hard to understand. Well, listen, if we can tick one thing here, we improve our bottom line here, and there are a lot of bean counters and a lot of private equity involved. And it goes back to my thing I said last hour about this stuff. Why my eyes start to glaze over is like, these guys are all rich. Maybe it's 100 billion, maybe it's $2 billion. These numbers start to get crazy, and it's like, none of these people involved are really doing badly for themselves, and we're just the pawns in all this. But hey, it's a big coup for DraftKings to get on that space, I would imagine. Now that's the deal with ESPN, and for ESPN, Billy, I would think they're getting a little bit more money now, to your point.
I would think they're going to get some more cash. Yeah. Now, I've been trying to find anything that brings out how much money they're making. You can't necessarily see it, but there is a little bit more info in here. It's like as a part of the partnership, DraftKings will power the betting tab within the ESPN app. Moreover, it will allow customers to exclusive promotions tied to ESPN Unlimited. Both companies also plan to use the partnership to promote responsible gambling, dedicating major digital and on-air assets to educational campaigns and awareness initiatives, which we appreciate very much so.
Sure.
In addition, ESPN Bet will transition to an active sportsbook with a different content brand. Also, ESPN Bet Live, their television show on ESPN2, will quickly flip. And I wonder if this means that the DraftKings network ends up getting either consumed on ESPN or kaput.
I would imagine that's part of it. Think of the amount of lawyers that are getting rich off this deal. Oh my gosh, buyouts, contracts,
a ton of money.
The amount of lawyers that are coming through and making their money. Oh my goodness.
There's anything they need and any way that we can make a little bit of extra cash from that, let us know. We can help.
We'd love to do it.
We can move some bags. Armen's into moving right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll move some boxes. Do whatever it takes. You want to build a media kit, whatever you need, I'll do it. So
we're going to have a great conversation to build out hour number 3, and it starts out with our MVP. Matt LePay joins us next, voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, up after this.
No BS on the game.
Show up all the odds of the different teams that could win the title. There are 14 teams up on there, none of which were named the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
For the first time in a long time.
We're not top 14? Jeez.
Let alone top 4. Yeah. I mean, that's been the Bucks for a majority of the last decade since Giannis has taken that next step and become the MVP player that he is and has been in the NBA. So you just see, and at the Potawatomi Sportsbook right now, you can look down the list of different teams, and I think the Bucks appear right around 15th or 18th. In terms of odds, they're like 50-1 long shots to win the NBA championship.
Plus 5,000 right now.
And understandably so. They are a really, really unproven group and a very unproven commodity. But when they got the best player in the Eastern Conference that is still seemingly wide open, definitely not as much of an open and shut case as I think the Western Conference is, with Oklahoma City kind of head and shoulders above everybody. In the East, I don't see that. And I see a team that is, with him as motivated as he appears to be, it could lend itself to positive results.
Billy and Armen are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on the game. Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Carlos Santana to talk about keeping his sound real.
Yeah, we learned that from Buddy Guy, and we learned that from Albert King and Freddie King and B.B. King, all of the Kings, that the way you stand, like Rambo in the old days when he was going to level a town, you got to stand like you mean it, and then you're going to get a sound, because it comes from your limbs, it comes from your fingers, and it comes from your vitals. It's a sound that is beyond pedals again, It might enhance a little bit, but you don't want to use too many pedals because it's like putting too much makeup. Then you can't really see your face, and then you start looking like Bozo the Clown or Ronald McDonald, You don't want to look like that because God gave you your own identity, your own unique individuality of sound. Why would you want to mask that,
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Carlos Santana and all your favorite artists.
If you don't go to the University of Wisconsin, you're going to end up eating government cheese and living in a van down by the river.
This week on Faith in the Zone, national radio host, author, and founder of the Man Church, Rick Burgess, will be our special guest. Sunday at 8 a.m. only on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to discuss the difficulties of putting a record together, particularly the Reckless album.
If you knew what Reckless took to make, you wouldn't think of it, it just sounds like we went in an afternoon and recorded a record, because I told over that record for 6 months, I mean, it was one of the hardest things I ever did. I was completely wiped out afterwards, because I fought every step of the way with everybody about it. And even though I had a good team, there was a lot of struggles. But I come to terms with the fact that if you want something bad enough, you got to fight for it. And so that's what I do now. I just I put together a good entourage of guys and go in there and just get in the scrum, man.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
Don't talk to me about no Kyle Kuzma.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
I've won the championship. They haven't.
On the latest Tales from 1265, we dive into how the first Hall of Fame for an individual team came to fruition and the most unique story in all of sports.
They go further in the red, but then community leaders decided to have that first stock sale.
I'm Doug Russell. Join me for Tales from 1265 on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game.
Message marked urgent. We're here for you now on the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
Let's talk about Karan Davis. All right, let's do it, because this is one to remember. So I walked into the hotel lobby, and Alabama A&M is staying there today. And just from doing the prep, I'd seen that Karan Davis is from Gary, Indiana. I'm from Valparaiso. It's probably about 35 minutes away. So I saw him sitting there, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go introduce myself because people in the region stick together. So I go up to I said, Karan, where'd you go to high school? And he said, I went to Bowman Academy, which is a school in Gary. I said, oh, that's awesome. I went to Valparaiso. I'm Robbie Hummel. I introduced myself. And he goes, oh, great to meet you. Are you repping the game tonight? I literally was like, my God, I am so old. And I was like, no, I played. Did you? I was rattled for sure. And I asked him if he played for SYF because that was my AU team. He goes, yeah, I played for SYF. And he just, it hurt my soul. But you know what? It was good for me. I needed it.
I'm guessing that was a first, though.
I've never been asked, are you reffing the game tonight? Yeah, that was a first. Yeah.
Robbie Hummel on BTN last night getting asked if you're reffing the game. There's a lot worse things that could happen to you, but then when you're one of the greatest players in the history of one of the better programs in the conference.
Emotional damage.
I don't know who hurt worse, Robbie Hummel or Lara Sarian, who
yeah.
Robbie Hummel is by far her favorite player of all time.
Yeah, when she was at Purdue, that was the group that she really loved and stuff like that. Robbie and Chris Kramer and Etwan Moore and all those guys.
Oh, now Matt LePay on the sidelines in the polo. I don't know, Matt, at the team hotel, if you've ever introduced yourself and any player has ever asked you if you're reffing the game tonight. If they ask Butchie that,
that's please gonna happen to Butch once.
If they ask Butchie that, he might be the tallest ref in the league.
That's the thing.
But that's a humbling moment. Tough moment, not so much. At least you look athletic enough to be a D1 ref, but that's a humbling one if you're Robbie Hummel yesterday.
Yeah, kind of a put you in your place moment. I mean, Robbie is such a great dude. Just getting to know him the last several years now. He's going to be all over everything. Multiple networks going to call NBA games. But yeah, that's this guy. Obviously, zero recollection of the Robbie Hummel era with the Boilermakers. And questions I usually get are, were you at the game last night?
Were you there last night?
Did you go to the road games? No, I kind of tune in the radio. I go up to the cabin and watch it there. So that's my put you in your place moment. Or here, Matt, here's my phone. Take a picture of me and my friend, and I'm the photographer. I do that quite a bit. Get a lot of those.
I got the text from one of my buddies this week who I'm going to be his best man, hopefully at his wedding. I guess presumptuous. He was the best man at my wedding. So
way to give yourself the job.
Just gave myself the job. He had asked me if I wanted to go to the Ravens game, the Packers Ravens game in December. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. I appreciate it, brother. He goes, oh, so you do go to all the games? Yes, all the games.
I have to be there.
We're at every one of them. That's kind of how it rolls.
Now I'm hoping one day. I mean, we need a little bit. I like that he said that it was good for his soul to get a little humble pie, and maybe Butch needs that every now and then. I mean, I know, and I saw your tweet to Josh Mauer last night saying, "Hey, sorry, now you have to deal with Butch because he's talking about snacks and talking about popcorn and things like that." Maybe at some point they can ask Butch if he's the janitor or something like that. Someone's got to have that for him.
We'll probably arrange something. I mean, I know last year as he hit the big 4-0, he had some pies in the face.
That's right.
Led by Charlie Wills, Joe Krabenhoff, Sherry Chambliss, but that was just your birthday prank. But yeah, we might have to come up with something, in the road hotel. We'll think about that one. We'll certainly take suggestions of what kind of prank we should pull on Butchie at some point this season.
I love that.
Now you gotta watch out because Armen's going to start cooking up into the lab as to ways to needle at Butchie. That'll be a fun one. It's nice to be back inside the Kohl Center, though. Nice to see the squad playing. We were talking a little bit about it with Jim Polzine last week as well. And there's so many unknowns, but I think the interesting part where the roster becomes an unknown, that's everybody right now, Matt, right? I'm interested to see if you'll notice, and it's going to be hard to see right out of the gates, but, Kirk Penny was so impactful for how they played offense and the development into a new style of play. It's early, so you're not going to be able to see some of those, but nice to see Brad Davison back on the sidelines in game one without Kirk. That's a new way of seeing an already new look Badger team.
Yeah, and I think with Kirk, the stuff is in place with what they've been doing offensively the last couple of years, and Brad played overseas, so he has a good feel for a lot of the concepts that are different with this program than what it was when he played not all that long ago. So, yeah, and I think what you saw, I think we saw a little bit with Marquette last night too, but with the Badgers, the game was a little tight for a while, and with Wisconsin, it was a 5-point game with like 8.5 minutes remaining. And then they were able to turn it on, and Marquette did what it needed to do last night. A lot of these early season games, you're going to get that, and sometimes you're going to see a team that you think should win handily lose. But they are trying to they've had a lot of time together, but now you're playing somebody else, and the speed of the game, all those cliches for not just the transfers, but maybe more so even the freshmen, for Alexis Bieliauskas, guys like Hayden Jones, two guys with a big time skill set. Bieliauskas from Lithuania and Jones from New Zealand, but they're getting acclimated. And it is going to take a little time. I asked Butchie about that the other night, and it might not be till maybe late next month before a lot of these teams start to hit their stride. So you mentioned a lot of new faces at Wisconsin. The team they're playing tomorrow, Northern Illinois, entirely new
That's
roster.
the thing. Well, and that's the thing, Matt. And I started thinking about this when I was looking at the rankings, and there's some idea preseason who might be good, but less so than ever because of how transient it is. And I was, not pleasantly surprised necessarily, but I didn't know how they were going to look at the Badgers in terms of rankings this year. And I saw Jay Billis had them 20 on his little index, 23rd. Badgers are obviously ranked in the top 25. And I think because of the unknowns and the increased amount of transfers and things, it's more of a credit to the reputation of Greg Gard than ever before, because yes, you have Blackwell, you have Nolan Winter, but there's an idea that whatever talent he has is probably going to be coached well by him to create a winning team. And B, I think because of the recent history that the eye for talent in the transfer market is probably going to be good because they've had recent success. So in a lot of ways, I think those rankings now are the reputation of the ability of coaches. And I think that's what we're seeing with Greg Gard.
I think you're exactly right. It's reputation, it's assumption. When in doubt, have Kansas and Duke ranked really high.
Easy, right? Yeah.
That you're just going to do that. And I agree with you, Armen, because Wisconsin, it's going to get a little bit more attention nationally because it's scoring in the 80s now, as opposed to the 50s and 60s. So they're going to be more visually appealing to a lot of folks nationally. And because they've been able to, 2 years ago was AJ Storr, who's I think at Ole Miss this week. And he's been a little bit of everywhere, but he's a very talented player, and he was really good at Wisconsin. John Tanjay last year.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that guy this year? Is it Nick Boyd? Is it Andrew Rohde? Is it all, is it yes? Is it all the above? But Boyd gives this team a dimension that is really intriguing. So yeah, I think that is a big part of it. And look, all this stuff, the rankings, if you're talking about it in college football in August, early September, or basketball, now it's marketing. It gets people talking about it, and that's okay. We could find that the teams, we could have 8 of the 10 teams in the top 10 unranked in a few weeks, but it still gets you talking about the sport. And I think it's that as much as anything.
The content world needs a driver, and luckily rankings and power rankings are always the easiest ones to fire in. But then this week, those ones are the ones that matter, right? It's the first 4 seed kind of prediction. You get a little bit from the committee in the NCAA tournament. Later on into the year, you get the initial playoff field or on Tuesday night in the playoff rankings. Those ones, at least you have an idea of, so for when it actually matters, Matt, this is how the league is being valued. I think about it in the Big Ten right out of the gates. I've been pounding my chest for that Iowa team, not only because they pounded Wisconsin and we got to see it kind of firsthand as to how physical they played. Nobody's played Indiana better than they did at Kinnick a month ago. And to see the way that the league was valued by the College Football Playoff Committee, I thought that was pretty impressive, especially the team that's coming in here this week. Washington sitting right there at 23rd, even higher than they were in the AP.
Yeah, they're sitting there with just a couple of losses, and then they've got some, interesting games ahead where they still think that might be able to wiggle into the mix. Ohio State, Indiana, 1-2. You look at it from Wisconsin's perspective, as it looks right now, they will play 3 of the top 4 teams in the country. Having played Alabama, they go to Indiana next week, so it adds to it is the as expected daunting schedule for Wisconsin. But yeah, I do think the Big Ten, the SEC and football, they're kind of ruling the day, and you can, slip, BYU out of the Big 12 is really, really good. But even this, and this is if you're going to pay attention to any rankings, this is the one, the CFP. It matched up, I think, pretty closely with what the AP has been running down here the last few weeks. But even this can change quite a bit. What's interesting is that you've got in the Big Ten, Ohio State and Indiana on an apparent collision course to play each other in the Big Ten championship game, which is great. it's in the moment, but it's almost like a conference basketball tournament title game.
Yeah.
You're going to feel good for about a half an hour, and then it's going to be, okay, what's the draw going to look like in the real tournament? So it's going to be interesting to me. We know why these conference championship games exist, but is it really necessary? No.
The answer is absolutely no, especially when both of those teams most likely are still going to get a bye, right? Like if either of them doesn't get a bye, it'll be surprising. It adds to, like you said, Wisconsin will have played 3 of the top 4 seeds and 3 of the 4 bye teams. And if Oregon goes through and wins their way out, they're going to be in. I still think if Iowa wins out, they're going to be in. And the team that Wisconsin plays this week is going to be interesting in Washington, because if they went out, they're going to have a win against top 10 Oregon as well, and a loss against Ohio State earlier on in the year. Like it's fascinating to see. And I think this is the best part of this rankings, Matt, for the last month. You kind of identify, that ends up almost being a playoff game. Like this one in Iowa City this week, Oregon and Iowa ends up kind of being one. BYU and Texas Tech, a de facto one coming up in the Big 12 as well.
Yeah, and I think with the expanded playoffs with more access, it will bring more eyeballs on games like that, because before, the old BCS, it was top 2, and then the CFP with the 4 teams, and some of these teams that are more in the spotlight now wouldn't have been in the old system. I'm still, and probably stupidly, I'm still a little skeptical of Iowa. I know people got a little down on Oregon because Wisconsin played them pretty well a couple of weeks ago. I still think Oregon's really good. But the games at Kinnick, it's going to be crazy. It would be a monster statement for Iowa. They've won a lot of games, pretty limited against the top 25. We'll see what the weather is and how much of a factor that could be. But it's I got to see it to believe it. If I'm picking somebody, I would pick Oregon in that game. But I know a lot of people are leaning, maybe including somebody I'm talking to with Bango over his shoulder there, leaning to the Hawkeyes this weekend.
Yeah, ticket already in. And also, I think my favorite part is I got to watch Dan Lanning. Now, you were there firsthand, so you got to see how bad the weather actually was. Matt, it seemed like it on television, like that was one of the worst times to be standing in the stands, sitting in the stands for that Oregon game. And Dan Lanning's sitting there wearing a cotton T-shirt. I'm like, brother, this is a Big Ten. You got to lock up. It's going to be 40 degrees and raining. If he wears that cotton T-shirt this weekend, I'm going to feel even better about Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes being able to get themselves in there, Armen.
Yeah, it was a little rough in Eugene, but it's going to be a little more chilly this weekend than it was out in Eugene a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we're going to start to feel that. I was thinking about
Patrick Herb Patrick Herb got a couple of days where he was bragging to you guys that it was in the 70s in October. So he's going to be paying a penance, I think.
Yes, he is.
It was bound to happen. It was bound to come. This weather was bound to come. So you just have to be ready for it. So you talk about, it's funny, you talk about Iowa a little bit and the season they're having. It made me think this week how rare it is from a number of different standpoints, like how much has to happen for one coach in college football at this level now to be staying at a place for this long as Kirk Ferentz has. Like he's approaching 30 years at Iowa. It is so rare because you have to be great, but good, but not great enough where you move on, but not good enough where like they're still happy with you, but they don't want to move on, but they're still, you know what I mean? It's just interesting how it's a truly unique situation in Iowa with Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know if you'll see this anymore. Once you get past that 8 to 10 year, like, we saw that with James Franklin. He had a good run there, but there's like, you haven't gotten us over the top and we're kind of tired of you. So we'll go ahead and cut the cord and pay you a lot of money to not coach. Ferentz he turned 70 here this year. And being there as long as he has, a fit is if you can win there. I understand that. But I still think he's a fit in other ways because he is low profile and he likes it that way. And it's a good, for that fan base, I think that's really, really good. They're good defensively almost every year. They're good in special teams almost every year. The offense is a little better this year, but they went through that stretch where they were really bad.
Where they were Iowa.
And they got to the point where he got leaned on to make a move with his son, who was the offensive coordinator, which was probably very uncomfortable for a number of people there. But yeah, it's a know who you are kind of thing. They've been good, rarely great, but year in and year out, they're right there. You know what you're getting, and they've been a model of consistency. Wisconsin for the longest time was a little better with that consistency, but obviously that's changed the last few years. But it's a ton of respect for the way they built their program, because the way that they did it is very similar to the way Wisconsin did it. Back in the old days, you get the walk-ons, and you're gonna be really physical at the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of frills, but a lot of wins.
Well, and Matt, the one way that they do it is something that I know was a hot button topic online this week. There was a story written about how many players get brought into the University of Wisconsin from inside the state, and the percentage is kind of going down. Kirk Ferentz is one in which they generally have gotten the best player in the state. Now, outside of Caden Proctor for part of the time, came back and left.
Back and forth.
A lot of times they get the best player and then develop them into all pro NFL player like Tristan Wirfs, who was a 3-time state champion or whatever in wrestling as well as in football. That part of it, we hear so much of the W meaning something to it, and it does appear, because we see Cooper Catalano running all over the place against Oregon. That's a true freshman from the state of Wisconsin who could start to be a little bit of the solution to that problem, specifically of the guys that really care about the university, have a vested interest in the state. Do you see maybe that trending upward as to Cooper Catalano getting on the field so early? You've seen some of these guys. You're seeing more and more youth hitting the football field. And I think you're going to see some of it even more from the inside of the state.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, Billy. I think Luke has talked about it a bit. They came in and ended up casting a wider net, I think, than they originally intended when Fickell and his staff got here. And I still think, I've been here long enough now, and I'm not a recruiting expert by any means, but you've just seen, the elite players, the Joe Thomases. Chris McIntosh was an elite player, although he was injured his senior year, but he was, very highly regarded. Melvin Gordon, Leo Chanel. Those are the obvious ones, but it's maybe the less obvious ones who still carved a niche and played in the league or still playing. Dare Ogunbowale, Alex Erickson, Luke Swan, John Chanel. Get me some John Chanels, fullback, but tough as nails. I hope that they can get more of those kind of players. The stars are the obvious ones, but other guys. But the question is, and I know, Luke has talked about it, in today's world, can you develop those guys? Can you retain them on your roster, given the challenges of NIL and so on and so forth? But I do think for football, if you can find enough big people to block, Michael Roski is they intend to redshirt him this year from Watoma, offensive lineman. I know they're really excited about him. But you hope as they continue to recruit. I think there's one scholarship verbal, and there's a preferred walk-on from Wanakee who had committed here recently. But you would I know a lot of fans would love to see that in-state recruiting increase. We'll find out together how much that happens.
I think there's a tough thing. There's a catch-22 now where in college football in the current state, you need that time, dedication, that stability to be able to develop those guys, maybe like at the walk-on level, and the guys that really grew up wanting to be part of the Badgers and they could grow into something. But time, stability, patience is not the hallmark of what college football is now, right? The coaches just don't know how they're going to last.
Yeah, we talked about that on Fickell's show last night because Ben Barton is the classic Wisconsin developmental guy. From Stratford, Wisconsin, 6th year. But I talked to him earlier this week, and early in his career, he goes, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to see the field here. And he's worked, and Saturday he's in line to make his 21st straight start. And he was another one of those guys all over the field in the game at Oregon. I mean, I think he ended up with 8 tackles total in that game. And you could argue he's playing some of his best football right now. But I was talking to Luke about that. And he said, yeah, you don't know how many more guys like that you're going to see. And I said, man, if you're right, and you may very well be, that's kind of sad because that's been a big part of how Wisconsin and Iowa, for that matter, how they have developed. Now, maybe I'm naive here, but I would like to think at Wisconsin, it's worth trying because there's, as much as the transactional component is going to exist moving forward, I just think some of these guys, Ben's living the dream. He wants to go back home, teach, be a high school athletic director, maybe coach, but he also wants to see where football is going to take him. He could get into a camp. Who knows? From someone who thought no chance to even play a whole lot at Wisconsin to establishing himself. So you hope that you can still get some of those guys. And look, like Mason Posa seems to be a guy born to be a Badger. Chris Orr from Texas, he played here. He's about as Badger gets. So you want those guys from the state. And then when you establish that culture of what it's all about here, you could get guys from Texas and, out west where, New Mexico in the case of Posa, but others. But you still, I know a lot of fans would love to see a little more of that Wisconsin flavor coming in here and growing. Yeah, because that ends up being the family that you always have, right? Like there's family that you like that you always have, and then there's the family that get to come and join you. You want the ones that are in here to have that vested interest. I think of another one that's just tough as nails, like Kyle Costigan. Like that guy was Wisconsin, and then also could rip somebody's arm off if necessary at a moment. Like we need more of those guys. We'll find some more of those guys because those are the ones that will. If the difference is, I always say it, Matt, and I joke about it. What's 100,000 amongst friends? That ends up being where you can make some different financial decisions, and hopefully that backing ends up coming through. More importantly, the weekend coming up, this you mentioned going to be wet. Going to be dicey. There's a lot of smoke here at the quarterback spot, and I'm not going to put you on the hot seat. However, I don't know if any of us really knew when Hunter Simmons was going to take over. Do we anticipate seeing, as I said, more youth throughout the roster, maybe at the signal caller position, or are we going to continue to see that in terms of Eugene Hilton getting deep shots like he did against Oregon? Well, I'd have to see it to believe it in terms of the people's pick this week of the quarterback, because we all want the guy that we really don't know anything about other than what we've read. Our favorite player is the backup quarterback. Yeah, and the one thing, Carter Smith is who we're talking about, and, we'll see. But you also have to remember he's been a scout teamer most of the year, so almost the entire year. So do you go to Danny O'Neill again? I think that's all to, TBD. They've gone through a lot of practices where it sounds, the reps have been maybe not 50-50, but it's been, it's not been like 90-10 either. So we'll see. O'Neill brings mobility. Carter Smith is an unknown, to most people. He's, Fort Myers, Florida. They went down there to get him. So I got to see it to believe it. So I guess I wouldn't say never, but I would have to see it to believe it. But you mentioned Eugene Hilton. He's a guy that no matter who's chucking it, man, I'd love to see it go his way. You obviously want Vinny Anthony because you feel like it's a crying shame that they have not had stability at quarterback because this dude's good. I think this guy's going to have every chance to carve out an NFL career. Big time Sunday here. But the statistics are really going to be modest because of the situation that they're in. But Eugene Hilton, even going back to last spring, he was one of the early enrollees. He showed some toughness, his dad, T.Y., all those years in the NFL. Big time catch to set up this thing called a touchdown that they scored a couple weeks ago. Can happen. Yes, it can happen. I'd love to see him get a little bit more involved, but you just got to get somebody who can get him the ball. So hopefully they can take a step in that direction this week. Well, Tausch got any eligibility left? He can sling that bad boy around. I see him on a pickleball court, so I figure that athleticism, as long as we're inside the pocket, bring back a true pocket passer. He's staying ready. Yeah, he's sneaky athletic. He's very versatile. Pickleball. I know he spent a few extra days out there in the Pacific Northwest, swinging the golf club, having a great time. So as I've often said, I want to be him when I grow up. That's a good dream to have. It's a good dream for all of us to have, and we're all still trying to swing to get to that level. Matt, always appreciate it, brother. Can't wait to see you coming up on Saturday. It's going to be a little wet one, but it's going to be a fun one. This Husky team is serious. Jed Fish, good football coach over on the other side, isn't he? Yeah, they bounced back. Tough year last year, but they're really good. This quarterback's like 5'11", 190, but tough. He runs it. He blew up a safety from Illinois a couple weeks ago. So another very daunting task here for the home team. Yeah, and Denzel Boston is one guy that I really, really like watching. I don't know that I'm going to love watching him coming up this week. Number 12, wide receiver for the Huskies. He's good football player. And he's one of those dudes that he'll let you hear about it as well. Matt, we'll see you coming up on Saturday. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
There he is, Matt LePay. And our network coverage coming up for Badgers and Huskies will start up at 1:30 on WIBA in Madison and 95.7 Big FM in the Milwaukee area and across the world on what is arguably the greatest weapon for college sports fans, the Varsity app.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, it's also available on the iHeartRadio app. The Varsity app is presented, I believe, by Learfield Sports. Should know this. Should I know everything about it, because the Varsity app is the greatest app on my phone. When you are driving on a Saturday and you want to find, I wonder how the Hoosiers game is, boom, punch it in. You want to see, obviously, Matt and Mark, boom, punch it in. You want to hear the Alabama Crimson Tide, used to be Eli Gold, Armin, when I'd be tuning in.
Legend.
Boom, right there. All of a sudden, late night, I'm sitting in my bed.
Yeah.
New Mexico State game on. You know what?
You do listen to that. I know.
Lobos, let me hear something. And that is how good the Varsity app is. Download that bad boy and enjoy it, and enjoy the game coming up on Saturday. However you consume it, maybe you're going to be hanging out with us at Camp Randall Stadium. Should be a fun one. Hopefully a fun one coming up on Saturday. And let's go. Come on, boys. Let's put something together. Carter Smith,
make it happen.
I don't know that you see the true freshman quarterback from Fort Myers, Florida, as Matt said there. Kind of a tough spot to throw a dude into. Hey, how about you go and play in the rain against a top 25 Washington team, and then your next game is going to be against arguably the best team in the country in the Indiana Hoosiers.
It is, Billy, but you know what? Sometimes that's how the opportunities come. And if you want an opportunity, it might not be the most, perfect situation. It might not be the most ideal setup, but sometimes it's an opportunity, and that's what you get.
Hey, if he gets the opportunity, I'm going to be excited. I know Badgers fans are going to be very, very excited to see number 5 whenever it ends up being. I assume sooner rather than later, but we will all find out together. Coming up 3:30 kick at the camp on Saturday. He's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. It's No BS. Rolling through hour number 3. Let's flip it to the pro game on the other side. Packers and Eagles has been dominating the conversation on the 4-letter network. Dominates our conversation on the other side. Next on No BS.
Second and goal at the 2. Now into the shotgun. Atuka to the right of Hunter Simmons. Chris Brooks wide right. Vinny Anthony wide left. Simmons gets the snap, and he'll throw it right side. Caught by Mason. Touchdown, Wisconsin. There, I said it. How'd that feel? Felt good.
Where the streets have no name. Where the streets have no name. We're still building them, burning down. Burning down.
Miss an hour of No BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app. Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
Talking to Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV. The prism that you're looking through the secondary is like, well, if they suck against these guys, just wait till they play Justin Jefferson. Well, who's throwing at Justin Jefferson? Like, who's left? Okay, in theory, those guys.
Detroit. It's Detroit. Here's the thing. Here's where this is driving all of this, Drew. And I know you're not quite the creature of the internet that I am. So let me school you here. What everyone is worried about in Packers fandom is it's going to be Thursday, Thanksgiving morning. You've got the sides, you've got the turkey, you got the family. You're all gathered around the TV to watch the Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions in Detroit, where Detroit is a much better football team, and they have a number of weapons, and they complete a bunch of passes, and they score touchdowns, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's doing a stupid headstand, right? And then all 10 days until the next game, Lions fans are going to be in your Twitter mentions as a Packers fan, giving you holy hell. And Packers fans are going to be like, I told you we needed other corners. I knew we were going to get burned, blah, 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 blah. That is where this is all coming from.
I could see it. Micah Parsons might have a word on that, influencing that matchup.
You think?
As well, which is why they got him.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
Kevin Kugler here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Ryan Harris and I will get Week 10 started from Denver when the Broncos host the Raiders. Sean Payton's squad is 7-2, including 6 straight wins, and lead the AFC West. Now they host Pete Carroll and a Las Vegas team hoping to break a 2-game losing trend. Join us for the Raiders at the Broncos on Thursday Night Football.
Pregame begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Daryl Hall as he flashes back to give us some insight on the Private Eyes video from back in the day.
So we're up there, and I'm looking at this stupid video, and they have us jumping around with these stupid suits on. And I thought it was a joke. I thought the whole thing was a joke. And then all I could think of was, I got to get up in the morning and about 2 hours sleep, and I got to go to Cincinnati. That's what I was thinking. If you look at me singing in Private Eyes, that's what was going on in my head. And the other thing I can tell you about that video is that T-Bone Wolk was the first video that he had ever done. And he said, what do I do? What do I do? I said, you be the guy that just stands there and doesn't do anything. And so if you look at that video, you'll just see T-Bone going like this. That's what I told him to do.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Daryl Hall and all your favorite artists.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
I've won the championship. They haven't.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Kennedy throws, has the ball. It is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think that they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The entire world watched.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement, pass it on, from the Foundation for a Better Life.
Let the party begin in Madison.
Okay, listen up, everybody. Turn up your volumes. Announcement.
Just inches. 16 seconds remaining. Here are the Packers. Third down. Inches to go. To Bader. 17-14. Cowboys out in front. Packers trying for the go-ahead score. Starr begins the count. Takes the snap. He's got the quarterback sneak, and he's into the touchdown, and the Packers are out in front. 20-17. There's 13 seconds showing on the clock, and the Green Bay Packers are going to be world champions, NFL champions for the third straight year.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicolayLaw.com talk and text line.
Hey, I'm just trying to find some answers here.
At 1-877-794-1973.
Where were you while we were getting high? Someday you will find me. Company put us slide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me. Company put us slide in a champagne supernova. A champagne supernova.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you. Oh, wow. I almost just got Centelled, Armin.
Oh, I got Centelled this week.
I almost got Centelled.
I got Centelled as hell. Does that make sense or not? I got Centelled all the way, and then then right away I felt bad because I sent you guys something that I got Centelled on, and then I right away brought it. Sorry, guys. Stand down. I got Centelled.
Stand down. We got Centelled. It's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood.
And I can see Billy there sitting reading it, seeing my text, seeing the Centelled laughing. Saying like, Armin, don't worry. I wasn't about to go on here and like break in about it. All right. So what just happened? Is there a good Centell out there?
It was a Centell that there was potentially going to be a lawsuit involving a former Providence head coach, and I got really excited for it. And then all of a sudden I looked and there was like 100 followers.
This is my man Matthew Leb.
Scott Hughes. I'm like, well, that's just not going to happen. That's not going to work. Never mind. That's not him. That won't play.
Scott Hughes. You know how I am. Oh, well, that Cooley, some Ed Cooley deal. Because Providence fans, as you know, are like my white whale, Billy. But because like Providence fans are always making me mad.
In on it. Yes.
Because the part of the reason is I don't know how they got this way. Maybe because they're just bored and there's nothing else to do there. The Providence Twitter like fan base is so good at trolling everybody. I'll give them their props in that. Like, they are the ultimate kings of like organized.
They're dedicated to it.
Global, like trolling, and they're mobilized is the right word. They know how to
That's
get
a good one,
like
yes.
they're in everybody's comments.
Generational trolling.
I mean, they were the ones really that they get me so mad, and Billy, and
yeah, nobody lives rent free in your mind quite like Providence,
and that's why you see a lot of fake Ed Cooley stuff, because that's their target, obviously, because he left for Georgetown. So I don't know if that was what it was, but they are just so good at it.
Definitely was some Ed Cooley stuff. I'm glad I caught myself.
Yeah, they were the whole genesis of the Tyler Kolek literacy jokes, like that have lasted forever. Yeah. That would get me so angry and like so mad. Marquette's compliance director is putting up his like it was just wild. But I will say this. Their guy Matthew Leb is kind of their main guy, and I've come to respect him over the years. So I'm always.
Well, you've gotten in enough battles with him,
and he's gone through
one of those
stuff,
deals
so
where you guys are
I'm
at the
praying for him. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like it's a good dude. And I'm trying to make it real serious. But it's just like I let him know, like it's just still just fun and games, that we're doing.
At the end of the day, this is sports. Yeah, this is supposed to be fun.
At the end of the day, we still clap at most games anyway, so I'm not too worried about it.
That's true. Yeah, if anybody's going to really be bugging you, it would be a team that you would have to actually lose to. Now, one in which teams that have not lost much. You keeping track on just how good the NFC North is again here?
Oh my gosh, Billy, that's been a big thing for me. Now that this has not been the first year of this, it's been last year as well. Yeah,
undeniably so. The best division in football.
Great division in football, best division in football, and I feel like the last 5 years has been really good overall in terms of total wins. But as you know, Billy, I with kind of like unbelievable shock and awe, have noticed that there's already 19 wins in the NFC North. It almost seems impossible because we're going to play each other, so there's going to start being losses. It is an incredibly tough division. There's a lot of wins there, and it makes you wonder, like, if we didn't play each other in the NFC North, would we lose any games?
How many teams? How many would get in? And what would the records all be?
Been dominant for the last couple of years, and this year it started off the same way.
Now, the other thing is Detroit has already played, I believe, the most division games because they have played each team after this weekend's trip for Minnesota to Detroit. They have played each team in the division. They have 3 remaining divisional games. The Packers have 5 divisional games remaining, including both against the Bears and the Vikings. And Chicago has 4 divisional games left. Minnesota, same deal. They got 4, and they have a pair against the Packers. So there are a lot of the games still in the North to be decided. But our friend Aaron Nagler put this one out yesterday that the NFC North first division to have all 5 teams be 500 or better through the first 9 weeks in back-to-back years since 1970.
Yeah, it's truly remarkable. I mean, that's a crazy stat. It really is. Now, maybe schedule has something to do with that because there wasn't as many interdivisional games, but you have to win a lot of your games to do that.
You got to win a lot of your games, and you also have to see that a lot of the teams that we maybe at the end of the year clowned, the Chicago Bears, were closer to getting it figured out last year than maybe the record would have indicated. Their season completely collapses when they have the Hail Mary go against them in Washington. And I think they lose 5 or 6 consecutive games, including the, blocked field goal by the Packers, the game that ultimately Eberflus gets fired in. And that shows to last week, man, that is a game they lose 10 times out of 10 after blowing a 14-point lead in Cleveland and being down 1 with, under a minute to go. That was a huge win. I've been looking back more throughout the week as the entire slate played out. We were so frustrated with the loss to the Panthers that everything else kind of gets blurred as we get into a massive game coming up on Monday night against the Eagles. But like, it just, you take into account how good the division is, how little you have still played the division.
Good point,
man.
And how many tough games you got coming up, right?
I know it's a cliche, but absolutely everything is in front of this football team through their final 9 games.
It's true. And you can say that for a lot of teams, but it's very true for the Packers. I mean, Billy, everything is in front, good or bad, because as much as you've already done this year, and it's been a lot of good things, 5 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie, there's a lot more to do. And you can win a lot of games in this division and in this league and not make the playoffs in this conference and not make the playoffs. And it's going to be a bloodbath when you talk about the wild card situation, when you talk about what the division is going to shake out as. So the Packers have some big games coming up. and big wins to get. That's why sometimes, Billy, I don't worry about aesthetics of wins too much. I know a lot of Packer fans do, which is understandable around these parts. They want to, even after wins, it's how good did they look, how good did they not. Right now, though, you just got to bank as many wins as you can to put yourself in position to try and get in the dance and then go from there. It's a cliche, like you said, but it's been said many times. That's just, you want to get hot during the playoffs, but you have to put yourself in the position, and putting yourself in that position is going to be as tough as it comes this year. 2 games against the Vikings, 2 against the Bears. These are really good teams. We don't know what to make of the Vikings some weeks. Some weeks they look like a mess. Like some weeks they look totally reborn with McCarthy.
If that quarterback's going to play that way, they're going to be a problem the rest of the way out.
And is he going to play that way all the time? Probably not, but we don't know what to expect. And it's a week-to-week league, and some weeks he might play that well. I saw him in the locker room looking like a psychopath, like going crazy. Getting all
you
excited.
saw everybody juiced up when he runs in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. Like, do they follow the leader? So it's something there to be seen. Now, I still have the confidence in this Packers team to be as talented as anyone else in the division. Obviously, a lot of people look at the Detroit Lions that way, understandably. But, the Bears offense has been doing their thing, undoubtedly, the last couple weeks. And the Bears have had a good run here. So it's going to be interesting to see now all the questions we've had about the offense, about the way LaFleur coaches it, about the way the Packers approach certain games. Can they put that together in some of the important games here coming up?
Well, and this stat would signify that because we hear a lot of the frustrations of the Packers offense is, well, this always happens. This is always the way it goes. Well, this is a different time in place for the Packers and a different style of problem maybe for Matt LaFleur. Dan Orlovsky put this out a couple of minutes ago from his boy Hembo, the ESPN guy that's always firing out the stats. Jordan Love being pressured on 28.1% of his dropbacks, the highest rate of any Packers quarterback in a season under Matt LaFleur. So when the question is, why is Matt LaFleur not just giving and putting the keys in the hands of Jordan Love? I think that would be number one, is the pressure that he has faced in his face right out of the gates. And you've seen that not only in the Browns game that they lose. This past weekend, Derek Brown was in his grill a number of different times. We talked a lot about the offensive line, but it does maybe point to, again, they've had a lot of combinations, a lot of guys in and out. Aaron Banks now in and out a number of different times, and I don't know exactly when. Hopefully we get to see him back coming up on Monday night because they're desperately going to need him. Desperately going to need him going up against Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Like, this is a defense in the Philadelphia Eagles that wins the Super Bowl last year for putting pressure on the quarterback.
Yes.
They do the exact same thing this year, and in games that they have continually pressured the quarterback, it has been a brutal display to being able to try to throw deep onto this Philadelphia team. That's why that number, again, is why they have tried to establish some form of balance. And the thought would be, well, if you're not being able to hold up in pass pro, then why are you running the ball as much? And why are you putting it in the offensive line's hands? Well, you're trying to give them any little advantage you can. Trying to give them any opportunity to get their feet into the ground and move forward. That's why you're trying to run the ball as much as you are, especially on first down, because if that's as much pressure as you're giving up, and you're giving up more pressure than you have in his entire tenure, you're going to probably be hesitant to run a lot of long developing play action, like what bit you this week on the interception to Merring. And also it probably would say and indicate that the running game is not going anywhere. Like, they're going to continually try to run the ball and try to run it into some difficult boxes, because if you're giving up that much pressure, especially this week against the Eagles, you're going to have to try to keep that pass rush honest. You're going to have to keep that front four honest.
I think you have to. You have no other choice but to try and hold them up a little bit with the running game and hope that it starts to pop and open some things up, and then you can set up a play action. But it is interesting, Billy, that sometimes you get your toughest test at the most ironic times. All the struggles the Packers had after the loss, the offense, the play calling, and now it's like, okay, here you go, Matt LaFleur. Here's your toughest test. Is some of this Eagles defenders. So pretty interesting how that works.
877-794-1973. Matt in Milwaukee. Well, the NFC West is right here. Wants to join the conversation with 20 wins. Yeah, with one team with 3.
Yeah, but they're good too. I'm not going to say
Arizona's good, no doubt about it. We talked about it a lot yesterday that they're a better team than you would anticipate, but they got a team with 3 wins in it. This division, everybody can beat anybody, and you're going to see just how good it'll be down the stretch. And how good the Packers are going to have to be to beat the division that last year they were 1-5 in will be the deciding factor for the 2025 Green Bay Packers. The final 9 games starts up against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions on Monday night. Can't wait for it at Lambeau Field. Can't wait for you to join us for hour number 4. But we're back before then. We got a parlay of the day still to hit. We got talking text line messages to hit. It's no BS on the game.
Watching every day that goes by.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
The Marquette Golden Eagles get a win last night at Fiserv Forum, 100-82 over Southern University. The win was number 100 at MU for Coach Shaka Smart. Chase Ross led the way with 23 points to go along with his 6 assists and 6 rebounds. The Golden Eagles are in Chicago for their next game Sunday against Indiana at the United Center. Week 10 in the NFL starts tonight, Thursday night football. It'll be the Raiders and the Broncos. Denver 7-2. Las Vegas is 2-6. Kickoff is set for 7:15 tonight. In Carolina Panthers, running back Rico Dowdle has been fined by the NFL for his so-called two-thrust touchdown celebration. That happened during Sunday's 16-13 upset over the Packers. Fine is for a little over $14,000. Dowdle has set up a GoFundMe account to see if fans will pick up the tab. I'm Doug Russell on the Game Radio Network.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And you know, I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians, they have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, you know, the number one rock star in the world had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, you know, they knew what I was going to do on stage. But off stage, they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Did you know your home can cause twice the greenhouse gases of your car? It's true. The good news is you can help with Energy Star. The EPA urges you to take steps to reduce your home energy bills and make a big difference in the fight against air pollution. Visit EnergyStar.gov.
On the latest Tales from 1265, we dive into how the first Hall of Fame for an individual team came to fruition and the most unique story in all of sports.
They go further in the red, but then community leaders decided to have that first stock sale.
I'm Doug Russell. Join me for Tales from 1265 on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top police songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Roxanne. Number 2, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Number 1, Every Breath You Take.
Every breath you take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you.
Hear more from The Police and similar artists now. Search for The Police on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music all your favorite stations, all free.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Meet you at the big boy anytime for that good food you can't beat. Meet you at the big boy, meet you at the big boy, our favorite place to eat. Meet you at the big boy, meet you at the big boy, our favorite place to eat.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
Now she's singing, girls just wanna have fun at the top of her lungs. Don't even know she about to wreck someone. And boys, I'm in trouble now. Ain't even trying to get out. So
no BS on the game. Billy and Armen Sarian with you. Really terrible news to discuss and report here from the NFL. Second-year player for the Dallas Cowboys, defensive end Marshawn Kneeland, the team has announced passed away this morning. 24 years old. Kneeland, the comments say here, it is with extreme sadness that the Dallas Cowboys share Marshawn Kneeland's tragic passing this morning. Marshawn was a beloved teammate and a member of our organization. Our thoughts and prayers regarding Marshawn our prayers regarding Marshawn are with his girlfriend Catalina and their family this morning. Marshawn Kneeland recovered a punt block for a touchdown on Monday Night Football. And this morning, 3 days later, has suddenly passed away. The statement from his girlfriend at the time said, we are deeply saddened in the tragic news of the passing of this is the statement from the NFL. Deeply saddened by the tragic news of the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. Thoughts and prayers are with his girlfriend Catalina and their family. Been in contact with the Cowboys and have offered support and counseling resources. It's just a terrible, stunning, and shocking news to report. His agent was also the one that put out a part of the statement. And Armen, you mentioned here, I'm shattered to confirm that my client and dearest friend Marshawn Kneeland passed away last night. Watched him fight his way from a hopeful kid at Western Michigan with a dream of being a respected professional for the Dallas Cowboys. Marshawn poured his heart into every snap, every practice, and every moment onto the field. To lose somebody with his talent, spirit, and goodness is a pain I can hardly put into words. My heart aches for his family, his teammates, and everyone who loved him. I hope they find and feel the support of the entire football community during this unimaginable time. I ask that you please give his loved ones the privacy and compassion they need to grieve this tremendous loss. 24 years old, former second-round pick just in 2024.
Shocking, man.
Far too soon.
Shocking and sad, and especially when you think about, one of many guys that has that type of story, just trying to fight for his dream, and a lot of people around the way will witness it. Maybe not a star in the league, so a lot of people, some people anonymous in a jersey, but a story nonetheless to have, and individuals that were around him are devastated today. So very sad to see that.
Oh man, that is just incredibly tragic and sad news. We'll pass along any information that comes up, and we'll get back to the better parts of the NFL conversation, but gone far too soon. And we send our prayers and thoughts to his family as well. Marshawn Kneeland of the Dallas Cowboys passing away at the age of 24. We are going to fire into our number 4 of the conversation. More Packers and Eagles as we get ready for maybe the biggest matchup at home for the Packers this year. We got a lot of big time road matchups. This one at home, big time Monday night. Our number 4 is going to be big time. We got a parlay of the day coming up at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's No BS with Billy and Sarian on the game.
If you missed No BS, you missed out on this.
How much emotion was in that game last week in Pennsylvania against the Pittsburgh Steelers? How much the young team put into playing and being up and being ready for that game, and how much emotion went into that victory and a 2-touchdown win Sunday Night Football. It was a predictable spot for emotion to not be able to rise to that occasion. That's a great learning lesson in the NFL. And even though us as fans and feel like, well, you should have learned that lesson in 2023 when you went to New York and got DeVitoed. Right, because we think of beating Detroit beating Kansas City, Thanksgiving night, Sunday Night Football at home, maybe 2 best wins that Jordan Love has had as a starter.
Sure.
Then you go on Monday Night Football and lose to the Giants, right? Being able to follow up those highly emotional victories with another great performance, that's something you got to learn. That's the consistency part of it. Again, they are one of the youngest teams in pro football. You're not using it as an excuse or just an explanation or a statement, but you're learning year in and year out how to win.
Billy and Armen are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on The Game. Stay tuned.
You do like to grab attention.
No BS will be back in just a moment.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Coming up tonight, it's Thursday Night Football in Denver as the 2-6 Raiders take on the 7-2 Broncos. You can hear that game in both Milwaukee and Madison. In Milwaukee, you can hear it on Fox Sports 920 WOKY. And in Madison, you can hear it on 1070 The Game. Pre-game begins at 6:30 with the kickoff at 7:15. If you're looking for some Badgers content tonight, Badgers men's basketball head coach Greg Gard will have his show at 7 o'clock on 1310 WIBA in Madison. I'm Hunter Baumgart for The Game Radio Network.
Classic Cuts.
Songwriting isn't usually a relay race, but in the case of Take It Easy, Glenn Frey finished when Jackson Browne started. Here's Bernie Leadon of the Eagles to explain how teamwork yielded the band's first hit.
Jackson had started the song and didn't have enough verses and had basically stopped working on it. And Glenn was living in the same building as Jackson at that time and had heard him working on it and said, "Hey, what'd you ever do with that song, Take It Easy?" And Jackson said nothing, and Glenn said, "Let me work on it." And he came up with another verse and some odds and ends and brought it to the band. And I think we actually recorded it first.
Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Lighten up while you still can. Don't even try to understand.
Miss an hour of No BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
Monday night, the Packers take on the Eagles at Lambeau. Hear all the action on 95.7 Big FM. Presented by Robert Hack Diamonds. They buy gold. See them in Brookfield or Greenfield.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold. From the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin. 21 plus. Drink responsibly.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are The Game.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel to reflect on the WOMAD Festival's evolution.
We initially started this WOMAD Festival in 1980. The first one was 82, and it was very naive enthusiasm for some of these strange and wonderful things we were hearing. And as a failed drummer, I was hearing grooves that I fell in love with, which seemed a lot more alive than what I was hearing on the radio. As a singer too, these wonderful voices, and it's still continued that way. And it's a lot more difficult, because the demise of the music business and record stores has made it extremely difficult for any minority interest label. But we work hard to focus online activities, and there is still, happy to say, good audience, and the WOMAD Festival is, I think, like a lot of live parts of the business, actually flourishing, even though the records are not doing as well.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
Message marked urgent.
We're here for you now on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line at 1-877-794-1973.
not kickoff time at Lambeau in the 90s. It's time to kick off hour 4 and no BS, though, on the game.
It felt like it, though, man. This was it, Billy. Maybe 25 years ago today, in 2000, when a young Bill Schmidt was there.
Come on now.
With Pops, right? When Antonio Freeman did the He Did What? It's the anniversary. Anniversary of the He Did What? Miracle overtime victory.
25 years ago today.
2000, right?
Night before election night.
Yeah.
Gore versus Bush.
Oh, wow.
Some of the first ballots were cast. I would have
early
to be in like Maine or something like that during the end of the Monday Night Football broadcast.
That's amazing context.
I remember Bush being up like 4-1, and then Nader had a vote or something. So
that's right. Nader did do
watching
well
the polling results.
no, they were throwing them during the game on ABC.
How the hell are you retaining that? That's amazing stuff.
Well, do you remember the next 37 days
Yeah,
after
it was
that?
wild.
Yeah.
Bill, you were a little.
I remember a lot from that election.
I don't.
Out of your
I was
consciousness.
6.
Out of your
That would
consciousness.
probably be the reason why. But yeah.
Listen, I would when I was 6, it was like Reagan. I wouldn't remember either, so I don't blame you. But you didn't forget when Dad told you we're going to the game. What was the deal with that game? Tell the story. There was some deal with that.
I had a pretty serious double ear infection at the time, and I had convinced my mom that I was still a good idea that I was going to go. I was still going to go
in the rain.
And it was my first game at Lambeau with my dad. I had gotten to go earlier in the year. They played the Eagles. I think it was like 6-3. I sat with my cousin in the end zone. My dad got an extra ticket, but not he had already had buddy going to the game. He's like,
yes,
but I got you another ticket, so you got to go sit there. I got to sit with my cousin Heidi. It was an awesome time. But then first game that I'm going to get to sit with Pops at Lambeau.
So cool.
Monday Night Football, Packers and Vikings, and it ends up being the He Did What game. My dad got to teach me one valuable lesson there. They don't let you back into the stadium if you leave early. Because there were a lot of folks that as the Vikings were lining up for a game-winning field goal at the end of regulation, ended up dipping out of the stadium. He missed it, and you start feeling these swaths of fans trying to run themselves back into Lambeau Field or run themselves back into the seats. I looked over at my dad. I'm like, Dad, why is everyone leaving? Game's not over yet. He goes, well, Billy, they think the Packers are going to lose, and they don't want to see it. It's like, well, that doesn't sound like something I want to see. As well, we're gonna sit here and make sure that ends up happening. It ends up going wide right, I believe.
No, it was a bad snap.
Thank you.
It was a bad snap, and it was to the point where it was a third down play. And Mitch Berger, when he caught it, he kind of was like, "Oh boy, what do I do?" and got up and ran. If he would have just taken it and spiked it into the ground on third down on that bad snap, they would have kicked it again.
Man, I haven't watched that game in forever. I gotta go back into the.
When was the last time you watched this, Letty?
I'd say probably 2002. I just have that crazy of a memory where I can remember stuff like that.
I love that.
That's scary stuff.
Hey, I remember
that
weird
is
stuff.
Scary, impressive recall. That kind of recall of a game that happened 25 years ago, Armen. That's amazing stuff.
Yeah.
That you need to be working for the government if that kind of superpower.
Benefits would probably
Holy
be better.
cow!
Yeah, I mean,
You're just randomly pulling that. You're just pulling that up out of. Wow, that is really, really impressive stuff.
You know what? Sometimes you
That's
just remember
awesome.
the weirdest things that you don't know why. And sometimes things are marked indelibly on your memory. It's crazy. But the thing I always thought about that play with obviously the weather and the fact that it was overtime is that even when he got up, he had to make a move on a guy.
He had to shake one tackler. No doubt about it.
He still shook the guy out of his shoes on that play. So
as I look back,
awesome.
it was actually 1st and 10. He had plenty of time. Or
okay, never mind. It's not that impressive now.
Yeah. Oh,
No, that was
you thought it was third down. Come on, Letty.
Well, the touchdown was a third down play, though. Yeah, but I know what you're
As I
saying.
look at the game logs here.
That's the thing, Letty. He's now going deep into game logs. But so Billy, pretty cool anniversary. One of the games I think we remember the most that didn't come in like a championship year. You know what I mean? It didn't come in like one of those type of years that was a positive, not like a heartbreaking 4th and 26.
You didn't know where the Packers were going to go. You just come off the Ray Rhodes experimental year, and Mike Sherman. You're like, who the hell is this guy? And you start out 0-2 that season. Billy sees them win their first one, a 6-3 thriller that week.
Yeah,
their week 3 against the Eagles,
and he was a tight ends coach, wasn't he?
I know.
So it's like, all right, Mike Sherman's our head coach. Okay, I guess that's what's
Went
next.
straight from tight ends coach to head coach.
And GM. He was the GM, which was pretty amazing too. It was like one of those things at the time because Mike wanted the GM job, and he's like, "No, we're not giving you head coach and GM."
Was he calling plays at the time too?
I believe so.
Wow, think about that.
Yeah,
head coach,
so.
GM, and calling plays.
Yeah, it's a different time, but he had some good years there.
Not great drafts though. Let's just say the Ahmad Carroll type draft.
No,
that's fair. Yeah, that's
great.
fair. Maybe that's why he didn't keep that job.
Maybe
that's why he didn't keep that job very long.
Maybe so.
877-794-1973. That is a fun anniversary. It's very similar, reminiscent to like the 2015 Hail Mary in Detroit.
A
right?
great comparison.
Great game that will always get brought up, and you'll always be able to see it. However, not necessarily the season that you're going to want to always be bringing up and remembering.
Yeah. No, that's true. Unfortunately, there were, and with Packer fans, Billy, and this is true. That's every season that doesn't end in like a Super Bowl run. Like we talk about all the playoff heartbreak we've had and things like that, and that's what usually happens because our standards are so high. As well, they should be. I understand. Our standards should be high for this.
We won't win, teams. Baby.
We want to win. We want to win it all. But yeah, there were good memories along the way, and that was definitely one of them.
That is, it's always a good memory when you beat the Minnesota Vikings. I know that there's a lot of different times that would tickle your fancy to be able to beat the Minnesota Vikings. You were just hate watching JJ McCarthy running into the locker room this past weekend after beating the Detroit Lions, and
listen,
not liking the fact that it didn't seem like you hated the video, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I want to build a healthy hate for my rival's best player or marquee players.
Best player. Already put him in the best player category.
He's the quarterback. He's the quarterback. You know what I mean? They're marquee players. And I saw JJ McCarthy getting real weird and fired up and real dorky and weird, like in the locker room. That's what I try and view it as. And that's the try and healthy hate that I try and build him as the villain in my head. And he's the villain. So
I like that you've coined that in his approach, dorky and weird. However, it does feel like if Armen Sarian was running in after a big time divisional win in your first game in 5.
Oh yeah, I'd have a different story.
It would feel very, very similar to the boyish charm that Armen Sarian would be running into that locker room with.
I mean, classic Evanston kid. I mean, Chicago.
If he was on your team, I feel like that reaction would just be rocket fuel for you.
Oh, I'd be shaking uncontrollably. I'd be going crazy. But that's what tribalism does to us, Billy. And that's why we love sports.
It's a good one.
It's a healthy way to look at it.
And McCarthy, and we had a text here on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. Matt in Milwaukee didn't agree with our assessment, of the NFC North being the best division in football. He's like, the NFC West would like to have a word. And understandably so. They got 2 teams in there that have 6 wins. Now they've had one of those teams get a bunch of those wins with a backup quarterback in Mac Jones. That might be even more impressive. They also have a team that's got 3 in Arizona. Maybe no one wants to play them. He said they have a team that nobody would, or I think a lot of teams would rather play the Vikings over the Cardinals. If JJ McCarthy can play that way, I would say no.
Yeah, that's
because even though Jacoby Brissett makes that Cardinals team look like they have a functioning offense, which is a big step up.
A huge step up.
And they have played competitively in every single game. If McCarthy plays that way and is that in control, I don't know that the answer is the same. Yes, if you know that you're going to get Carson Wentz experiment a couple of times.
Sure.
But if that's going to be the case, I think it's going to be a different story.
Agree, Billy. And you have to be fair and say how many games would they have won if JJ now had started all those games and it wasn't Carson Wentz, like you just said. So I absolutely agree with you. As much as I hate to admit it, the Bears and Vikings are going to be reckoned with when they have those guys. What we get from McCarthy, we still don't know. He's still one of the biggest enigmas and unknowns going right now because he sat out so long with that ankle injury. But he makes a good point. The West has been great. Look, Seattle's been sort of unexpected to be really, really good. I mean, your boy Darnold's doing his thing. We know what the Rams can do with Stafford. The Niners, amongst it's seemingly all the problems they've had, are still 6-3. Billy, got to be one of the worst 6-3 teams I've seen. However, well, they barely have a positive point differential, but this is the NFL and you got to win. You don't have to be sexy about it. You just have to get in there and get your dub and get out of there. Now, the Cardinals are the opposite. 3-5, but a team that could have won all those games. So you have to give credit to the NFC West as well. And I do. I think it's the whole NFC. That's why I said the wild card scenario is going to be a total bloodbath in the NFC. There is a lot of wins in this conference and the cross-conference deal compared to the NFC when you look at all the teams in the NFC that don't have it. They look at the AFC North. They have one team that's over 500. And the East has a couple really bad teams too, obviously, when you talk about Miami and New York.
There's a couple. There's a lot more dreads in that side, including one of the teams that's going to be on the football field tonight in the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Denver Broncos. There's really no easy out, especially in that West. I mean, we saw Arizona. You mentioned San Francisco. They're a very, very interesting team with all of the stars that they've lost. I mean, they played a number of games without George Kittle this year.
Yep.
They've already lost Nick Bosa. They lost Fred Warner, and they're getting just enough. And offensively, they're fun. Like to watch Mac Jones play and play this well has been interesting. Seattle, though, being more impressive than them, the 49ers at 6-3 with the injuries I just mentioned, and for maybe being more impressive than the LA Rams with Puka Nacua setting records through the first 5 games as to target shares and receptions. Devontae Adams finding the end zone as much as he has. I'd agree with you, though. Everyone knew that Seattle was a good team, and they had a lot of really, really good players.
And they knew Darnold was a nice story, but I don't know if people really understood.
But if anybody thought that he was going to go from 35 touchdowns in Minnesota a year ago and be better in Seattle, I would have bet against that.
Especially losing DK Metcalf.
Losing DK Metcalf, 1,000%. Playing with, again, Jackson Smith and Jigba, we knew was a good player. I don't think anybody thought he was one of the best top 5 wide receivers in football.
Yeah.
And he has produced like that.
But we liked him when we saw him in the summer at camp.
You could tell he
was making plays. Yeah.
And you could tell that Seahawk team had something. And Mike McDonald is a fascinating study of one of the only defensive coaches that's getting hired in the NFL. Where everybody else is zigging in that division, Arizona and Seattle have tried to zag. Jonathan Gannon, defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles a number of years ago, head coach hired. McDonald, defensive coordinator for the Ravens, hired. And now they're matching up some of the offense with a defense that seems to be very, very tough to figure out for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I think 2 guys, and you mentioned McDonald. I think Shane Steichen. Those are the guys in the mix for coach of the year, probably like that. Vrabel, I guess, obviously is involved there too. Those guys are going to be involved. But when we talk about these things and all the wins, something has to obviously give. This is a 0-sum game still, and you're going to start to get those divisional matchups, at least in the West. So the Cardinals are at the Seahawks, Billy, this week. We're going to get some sort of clarity there on that a little bit. And the Rams at the 49ers, which is going to be a lot of fun to watch on Sunday.
Yeah,
probably one of my favorite ones in the late window.
Probably a good job by the scheduling makers to load up the division games in that West as well. Because Seattle, same with the NFC North, like we were talking about earlier, they've only played 2 of their divisional games. They got a pair of games still coming up with the Rams. We'll decide a lot what goes on in the West. And also start to shake out some of the wild card scenarios, because you're right. It's a jumbled mess. The Packers can go to the number 1 seed again in the NFC this week, or they could be out of the playoff picture entirely. That's how quickly it can flip midway through the season. And with so many good teams, not necessarily any great teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
That's what you got. I think you've got more teams that you would consider to be the closer to a great team in the AFC. But right now, I don't know that there's any great team in the NFL, because I think Buffalo would be the one that you'd want to put in there. And they're not even leading their division because they got the head-to-head loss against Drake May and the Patriots.
Or even some days the Chiefs that aren't even in the playoffs.
Right.
It's kind of funny. This is what I guess if you think about parity and you think about creating a league with equal governance and equity and all that stuff, this is what you dream about. So many teams that are so similar but you know what it creates, Billy? And it's always funny. It creates a lot of unsatisfied fan bases that think they should be better, that want to be better, that want to win consistently, that don't get it. Billy, tonight I'm a little excited we've had pretty good Thursday night games relatively lately.
That's pretty good ones.
I think we're getting the retro Thursday night tonight. I mean, Raiders Broncos seems to me just screams 20-9 stinker. You know what I mean? We're gonna get a boring win, like a terrible looking game. It just screams. I don't know why. I think the Broncos will win. I think it'll be uninspiring. I think it'll be a boring game. I think it'll leave fantasy owners that are looking for their one guy to go off unhappy.
Oh, that's a good inclusion in the frustrated fan base.
It's throw it to somebody, do something offensively. So I don't know how you feel about tonight, Billy. I don't know if you'll get to it in our Parlay of the Day segment presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook, but I do feel this is going to be a retro Thursday night. I mean, we're going to throw it back to having the dreg.
I like that you're throwing it back to Color Rush Thursday night.
Yes, it's going to be terrible tonight.
Debut of NFL Thursday nights on the NFL Network is what we're going to start getting here with the Broncos and Raiders. It has the definite makings for that. Because if anybody has thrown the ball to the other team with a higher efficiency and more success than Geno Smith, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
He has been phenomenal at throwing the ball to the other team. He's got 11 picks already this year. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's missed the game. So like to have those kind of numbers, 1,700 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 11 picks, going to make for an interesting day. Geno gets brought in the offseason with the Raiders, and then they're maybe wishing that they hadn't. But I thought the Raiders were an interesting team at the deadline. Many people thought that they were going to sell off a bunch of pieces. Everybody still is trying to get Max Crosby off that team.
Yeah.
Max Crosby is saying, I'm not leaving.
No, and the Raiders are saying, we got to sell jerseys to somebody. We got to sell.
And I also think that there was a point to be made. Like we had mentioned Eric Stokes' name.
Yes, that was another one.
He was a player that apparently a lot of teams were calling about, and they kind of shut off a lot of the conversation saying like, well, we do need to field a team, and we have a new coaching staff, a new front office. We would like there to be at least some forward direction, some positive momentum, someone and somehow we can look forward with a couple of young players, be like, all right, this is how we're going to build forward. Because they ship off Jacoby Myers, who's been asking to get traded since I think the third week of the preseason.
So that was the one move they did make, to Jacksonville.
And it leaves them quite thin at receiver already. You're going to see a lot of Ashton Genty tonight, but I mean, he's only got 3 touchdowns on the year. I really like RJ Harvey on the Broncos side, but they're a phenomenal outfit. They haven't lost at home yet. And to your point, Armin, I would not expect them to tonight as a 9-point favorite. I think that might be a rather comfortable mile-high victory.
No, I think they'll win. I don't know that it's going to be a very exciting game. Yeah, I mean, and it is tough for Geno Smith when you got, you do have Lockett there still, right? But you have like Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton and guys like that. That's what you're thrown to. So, it's the reality of life in the AFC West, life being a Raiders fan right now. That's what you got. And Jacoby Myers wanted to get out of there. So
First Take firing off the hot takes about Monday Night Football with the Packers and the Eagles. Right now asking, is Monday a must-win game for the Green Bay Packers? They put up a graphic a tick earlier that said coming into the game, Packers have a 51% chance of winning the NFC North. I like that better than 49.
Flip a coin.
They win the game, 60% chance of winning the NFC North. Lose the game, 40% chance.
This is a big game. Okay, this is a big game.
It'd be a big game.
Big game.
I don't get the must out of there. But it's a big game in terms of you need to perform to the point where, and to the level of, listen, I expect a lot of Packers fans are believing they're going to win the game and should win the game. They're playing the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. As long as you put together a much more visually appealing game and a more competitive game than you did against the Carolina Panthers, now no score touchdown in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
I think people will be somewhat satisfied. Must is a tough way to put it. But if you want to get everybody fully believing once again, like we were 2 weeks ago, Armin.
Sure.
2 weeks ago, people were believing this team
great.
could win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
After losing to Carolina at home, who is a 500 football team, above 500 football team, nobody believes. You beat the team that already won it, knocked you out of the playoffs last year. Start to buy back a little bit of that equity, I would assume.
Yeah, you're trying to change the way you feel about yourself, I think, is part of it. And
this is a run your own race game.
Packer fans feel about themselves too. But it's very possible the Packers win, and there are still fans that come out unsatisfied. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. Packers are a home favorite, by the way, 2.5 points.
That is Armin's lock seemingly weekly. And
every week.
You've been cashing tickets on that one. Unhappy fan base after. We're going to hopefully have a happy fan base for the parlay of the day when we fire one in on the other side. Still streaming on YouTube and X, a hell of a story in the world of the NBA that we'll get into, which includes a kind of scary situation with the head coach of the Miami Heat. We'll give you that before a parlay of the day on the other side. It's an OBS on the game.
No colors anymore. I want them to turn black. I see the girls walk by dressed in their summer clothes.
Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
Christian Watson's return to the field for the Green Bay Packers, obviously a huge story, and it's a huge story here in Drew and KB land because it means that we get to say hi to Christian's mom, Krista Lynn, our returning champion. What was it like for Wisconsin's favorite sports mom to watch her son return to the field after 9 months of grueling rehab and isolation and self-doubts, and to see him just frolic on the field like he was never hurt?
I'm going to be really honest. For the first time in my mom career, I was very nervous and anxious, and I'm not really that kind of a person often, but there were just so much leading up to this. And I mean, even after I talked to him on the phone yesterday, I called him before they were leaving the hotel and to head over to the stadium. And I was like, how are you going to get through like knocking the cobwebs off? I mean, that's really what it is. There's literally nothing like an actual game or a game time situation that you can simulate. You know what I mean? With the other guys coming at you at full speed, they want to hurt you. They want to take you out. Like, how are you going to get through that? And he was like, just being really honest, Mom, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do me.
I mean, that's fantastic. It doesn't matter. You would have that same conversation with him if he was in Pop Warner football and as a professional. That's just mom stuff, and that's great.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app. Miss an hour of no BS?
Honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to get a feel for when it all began for him musically.
I was about 10 years old. I was given a Spanish guitar for Christmas. And so, I wanted a drum kit, but I ended up getting a Spanish guitar. And I guess the things sort of just turned around from then.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Kevin Kugler here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Ryan Harris and I will get Week 10 started from Denver when the Broncos host the Raiders. Sean Payton's squad is 7-2, including 6 straight wins, and lead the AFC West. Now they host Pete Carroll and a Las Vegas team hoping to break a 2-game losing trend. Join us for the Raiders at the Broncos on Thursday Night Football.
Pregame begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee and 1070 The Game in Madison.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Your favorite shows are still live every weekday. Listen to No BS with Billy and Armen, DND with Doug, Nick, and Dave, and Drew and KB every day right here on the iHeartRadio app.
Last game of the year, Brent. Can't hold anything back now.
It's the greatest story in sports.
Star dropping straight back. Hit as he throws, has the ball. It is a touchdown.
I'm Doug Russell, and this is Tales from 1265, an insider's look at football's most storied franchise. A franchise that has had its dynasties.
This is the first Super Bowl trophy, and it's something Green Bay can keep. We're going to have a new trophy each year.
And its rebirths.
Every major football decision will be made by Ron Wolf.
I realize I'm a Green Bay Packer now, and maybe I can prove that I am worth the first-round pick next year, but just got to be patient.
But I was really impressed with the coaching staff, with the whole organization, and with the direction the team is going. I think they have a total commitment to winning.
Tales from 1265 is presented by Nicolay Law, your local award-winning injury lawyers. If you've been injured, get Nicolay, Wisconsin's winning team of lawyers that will get you back in the game. Tales from 1265 is a production of iHeartRadio Podcasts and is available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Second and goal at the 2. Now into the shotgun. Atuka to the right of Hunter Simmons. Chris Brooks wide right. Benny Anthony wide left. Simmons gets the snap, and he'll throw it right side. Caught by Mason. Touchdown, Wisconsin. There, I said it.
How'd that feel?
Oh, good.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so bring me a cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
Great job bouncing out by Josh Jacobs.
Here we go, third down, goal to go at the 1. Give Jacobs diving into the end zone, and a touchdown. It's a pushing and shoving going on afterward.
After review, the ruling is touchdown.
A Monday warrior, mean strike. Today
That's how it sounded when the Packers finally hit pay dirt on Sunday. Josh Jacobs touchdown to, at the time, bring the Packers within a Brandon McManus extra point to the Carolina Panthers. End up falling on a frustrating and angering Fitzgerald field goal 49 yards away. Packers lose to the Panthers, put that thing to bed, and go beat the reigning defending Super Bowl champs this weekend. And I got a feeling, Armen,
Yeah.
that if the Packers beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night, not many people are going to be talking about the Panthers game.
Yeah, that would help to erase the memory, Billy, of that. However, see, I don't agree. It's funny you say that because I know there's going to be a lot of people like, it makes it even more frustrating. We could dominate a team like the Eagles and then lose and lay an egg against a team like the Panthers and the Browns.
That's fair. Might incentivize more conversation about it.
That's
true.
But the thing I do agree with you is, as a sports fan culture or sports landscape, as a people, we have shorter memories now. I mean, things go into the ether. I remember talking about a win in week 3 and 4. I'm like, don't worry. In 2 months, we're not going to remember this game. That's just the reality of it as well, is that we do have short memories now. We're shorter memories. But one thing I know about Packers fans is they're going to lament what they could have had sometimes. And listen, I'm not trying to rip on our own fan base.
No,
it's because we love
I think
the
it's
Packers.
fan base. I think it's all fans, but yes,
it's all
this
sports
one in
fans.
particular, yes.
And we love our Packers, and we believe that they can be great. We want that greatness. So because of that, we're going to be wondering how much better could we have been. Listen, we're proud of our boys, and just like you and you're a parent, you want your kid to do the best they can, and you want them to achieve their potential. You don't want them to just, get by. So listen, I understand. But I could see it going that way. How about this? Let's beat the Eagles first and worry about the reaction.
then deal with the reaction after.
That.
That's probably a good idea.
I like that idea, Billy. If I had
That's a good strategic plan.
Yeah, that'd be good for me.
Now, Ryan Fitzgerald kicked the game-winning field goal against the Packers this past weekend. Pat Fitzgerald, you may have heard of him, former Northwestern football coach.
Yes.
He joined your boys Pete Thamel and Reese Davis on the College Football Game Day podcast this week. And talked about the settlement that he got. Said he's 100% vindicated after the settlement. Remember, we heard from the agent or the attorney of Pat Fitzgerald that we were very happy, very satisfied with the result.
Yeah, we did.
We're pretty satisfied with the result of the hearing. He said, I feel very fortunate, Fitzgerald said when asked how he has been received in college hiring circles. I feel fully vindicated. It's been great working through this process. There's been conversations with a lot of folks. It's been face-to-face. It's been on Zoom. It's been phone calls. My candidacy has been received very well. He is ready to get back into coaching. Said the specifics about the settlement that he is not allowed to speak on, but generally, I feel 100% vindicated. You alluded to the statement earlier. I'll let that speak for itself. I feel very vindicated, especially for our players and their families. The facts are the facts.
And as you know, Billy, at that level, I mean, obviously money's money. It's always going to be important. But I think for a guy, you can hear it when what he's saying there is basically, yeah, money's one thing, but no, this money proves that my legacy, that what I stand for, all these things that is intact in terms of, how I represent myself. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not that almost seems more important to him than anything else. Obviously, because you want a good reputation just to get jobs and stuff like that. But you want a good reputation for the legacy that you put out there. And I'm sure it hurt him very deeply that he was, let go by his alma mater after he probably felt like he did a lot for them as a player and a coach. And when the incidents came out and all these things, I'm sure he was very hurt by it emotionally, and this is where he feels, hey, I'm vindicated. I was right, type of thing.
As they redo and rebuild, I shouldn't say rebuild, they're building a new Ryan Field.
Brand new stadium.
Right on top of the other one.
New Ryan Field. He was going to be in conversation to have something named after him.
He was at that level.
Whether it was locker room, whether it was field, whether it was new Ryan Field.
Clearly,
he was in that situation. A former defensive player of the year in the Big Ten, I believe, when he was at Northwestern. Been to the Big Ten championship game multiple times, but it was launched into investigation in the football program after allegations of hazing and sexual abuse were made by a former Wildcats player late 2022. Former player said the hazing, often led by a group of older players, was organized and widespread through the program. Fitzgerald was fired days after he initially was suspended for 2 weeks by the school. He said he took the suspension because he was a leader and, quote, took full responsibility for what happened despite not having any knowledge, because that's what a leader does, he said. We had a zero tolerance policy for hazing in our football program, Fitzgerald said. I educated the guys. We used our resources within the athletic department, within the university. He said the investigation revealed, quote, inappropriate behavior by players, and that he was ready to be sure that those implications and those implicated were, quote, held accountable for not living up to the standards of the program. Fitzgerald said, I was looking forward to doing that. I was not given that opportunity. That is a regret that I have. I have loved, and I would have loved to have been able to do that. I would have loved to be the right person to help those guys through it. He added that he is ready to implement systems and processes at his next stop, quote, relentless in making sure our guys are able and are about the right things and doing the right things. Fitzgerald's a fascinating statement, or a fascinating study, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he is a guy that I think a lot of teams in the NFL at different points in time were very interested in.
Clearly had respect in the game, right? College, pro, clearly had respect.
Like, twice, I think, when the Bears job came up, everybody kind of unanimously thought like Fitzgerald's going to be a shoo-in potentially for that gig, and didn't end up going. And I think there were a lot that just felt like he never wanted to. He turned down multiple high-profile college jobs, including the Michigan job in 2011.
He was happy making Northwestern his destination job for life, it seemed like, right?
And he says since his firing, he spent time at NFL camps, many colleges, studied schemes and changes in the landscape. He's prepared for what's next. Fitzgerald said he's also 50 years old. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Pat Fitzgerald was a lot older than that. 50 years old, Pat Fitzgerald told ESPN on his time off.
Yeah.
Right?
He
felt
felt
like he was late 50s, getting close to 60s. Seasoned guys. See him on the sidelines for so long. Quote, I just feel like I've got a PhD. I'm well rested, no bags under the eyes, ready to put the whistle around my neck and pull the neck roll on, or put the neck roll on and get ready to go somewhere.
Man.
Hopefully this will work out and we'll go win some championships.
He sounds hungry. He sounds determined and motivated to prove people wrong and to reset kind of what people thought about him. Also, Billy, I could be wrong, but I think in the back of his mind, he said, look, I love Northwestern. I love being here and I love coaching here, but I want everyone to know that, like, I'm doing this here with the Northwestern talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe I could have won bigger prizes somewhere else with bigger talent. So I always kind of had that sacrifice in my winning legacy because of that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like in the back of his mind, he probably thought that as well.
Could
like
you see him going to Penn State?
I could see him going to a number of jobs. If they feel that there's no negative baggage around him, which I don't think there really is at this point, I could see him going to a number of jobs. Penn State, I could see him going to a number of places.
Well, and MPB MKE said Pat Fitzgerald, new future Badgers head coach. I know the Badgers have been very, very fond. Barry Alvarez very fond of Pat Fitzgerald for a long time. Who wasn't fond of what he did coaching wise at Northwestern? It was always extremely impressive.
Everyone felt that way. Everyone felt that. I believe most people felt that way.
Now, I would think he is a perfect spot. The Big Ten is the perfect spot for him. Like, there's certain guys that, they joked about this with Brian Kelly. He's not SEC.
Maybe not SEC guy. Maybe not going to.
Yeah, never coached in the SEC.
He doesn't have the accent.
He thought he did. Right? Like Kalen DeBoer, he wasn't SEC until now. He's got the 4th ranked team in the country and they're dominating folks after he put the black hoodie on. Right? Like, you are a fit when you win. But for somebody that has spent pretty much his entire college life in the Big Ten,
in Midwest,
in the Midwest,
Evanston,
at these institutions, it does feel like he's kind of locked into a Big Ten job. Or, I mean, listen, I don't know if he's a highly successful football coach. Now, whatever this situation and potential baggage that an institution is going to take on, like, even if he's fully cleared of all issues and he feels very vindicated, a fan base is still going to have that question right away. There is going to be a sudden pause, but I think he's in line for one of those jobs, a power forward job, much more than I think he's ready to go down to, I don't know, Ball State and rebuild his image at like the Kent State Golden Flash. I don't think he's going to a MAC school. I think he's going to get a big job. I think he's going to get a decent job. And the other part of this hiring cycle is we didn't get into it, Matt LePay. We took way too much of Matt time already. But the timing of the college calendar is really going to prohibit the big splashy hire for guy who potentially already has a job here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, if you're in the playoff, if you're Lane Kiffin, everybody's golden goose right now is Lane Kiffin, it appears. How things change, they all stay the same.
That's true.
Lane Kiffin's been the toast of the town in college coaching circle for how long?
Yeah, coming and going at some point.
Yes.
In some angle of it, right?
Whether very positively or very negatively. If his team wins 2 playoff games, they're coaching, and he's coaching into the transfer portal
It's
window.
too late. It's almost too late, right?
So if you go to the 3rd round,
you're safe.
you probably are going to have to stay at your own spot.
Well, you stay anyway. But
If you're one of these teams, though, that is sitting there looking at a guy that's on the fringe, maybe your team's in at-large bid and playing on the road in the middle of December. Well, you got to sign a high school recruiting class in the beginning of December.
Sure, it makes it really difficult.
So the timing of the schedule almost makes it more appealing for one of these teams and one of these universities that fired their coach in the middle of the season, wants to get everything in place, but we really want X, Y, and Z coach who are making a great push to the playoff, but they're not going to be available this year because their team is too good and they're going to be coaching into the time that we need to have somebody and have some answers here. Like he's going to be higher up on a lot of lists, I would assume, Armen, than maybe you would think because of his availability might be his best ability.
That's a good point,
and that's
too.
not trying to undermine the coaching that he has done.
He's a free agent, you know?
But you being a free agent is more valuable to us than you coaching Northwestern this year.
Yeah, and to your point, Billy, I think it just feels more correct for him to take a job like, Purdue or Michigan State or Wisconsin and Penn State, and not like Florida. I don't see him in Gainesville necessarily doing his thing. Now, we're not no one's replacing Luke Fickley. I'm just saying if that job were to happen, I want to make it clear.
Yeah, so, if the Badgers job would become available.
If that were to happen, yeah.
If the Badgers job were to become available. Now, again, the Chris McIntosh statement doesn't appear that it is going to.
Right, okay.
If it were to become available next year, and Pat Fitzgerald doesn't have a job next year, I would assume his name is very, very high up on the list. He's a really good football coach. And to have this now put behind him does give you the opportunity to go and start somewhere new. But like, Letty, you listen to some of these coaching circles. I was listening to maybe it was Cladd or Herbie and Joey Galloway for 2 Ohio State Buckeyes. Those guys were going at each other, which I appreciated after the playoff rankings. But like they brought up Alex Golish, the guy at South Florida for the Florida job or the LSU job. And I'm like, if you're LSU or Florida, the last thing you thought you were going to settle for this year was the coach from the American Conference.
Very much.
But he's going to be potentially one of the only guys available that can take over right away. And you have to decide, all right, we have this guy who's our number 1 dude. We have this guy who's our number 2 dude. But we're going to be okay taking option C because we can hit the ground running and start rolling into our new program that way.
That is so crazy. The idea of the calendar, how it shifted a couple of weeks, and that just screws up everything. But you brought up Pat Fitzgerald, and Armen, you said it too, being a Midwest guy, he's from Midlothian. I think that's how you said it. One of the Chicago suburbs. He knows people in the area. And what has college football become? Not only just coaching, but raising money. And if he stays in the Midwest around people that he's comfortable with and that are comfortable with him, I can see him, let's say it is at Wisconsin, being able to get the money that maybe he wouldn't have been able to at another spot, especially down south.
Yeah, especially, he was rubbing elbows with a lot of folks at Loyola.
Oh, gosh.
Academy, the high school there in Chicago. I think there was a potential time where maybe his kids were playing some high school ball there and he was helping out during this time off. He's got relationships with some folks that would definitely find and consider their pockets deep. Would consider a capital W in the word welfare.
Sure, no doubt.
Not like
there's money there.
Maybe not like just Big Cat, who has found himself into every conversation about Badgers football. And I, for one thing, Dan's doing a phenomenal job of it. He is going directly with his opinion. Now he wants everybody out.
Everybody.
Wow. But he also is clarifying and holding back on some of and cushioning his statements by saying, everybody wants me to buy the team. I don't have the kind of money.
I'm not that rich, guys,
One of my favorite statements is when a rich guy says, I'm actually not that rich. And people are like, what do you mean? You're loaded. You got all this barstool cash, cats.
But those, the plebeians like us, Billy, sometimes think of everybody as rich as all in the same boat.
What did you just call me?
The plebes,
Plebeian.
Well, It's still nicer than what one of our texters, Jake and Waukesha, said earlier on here today. He said, why does Luddy look like someone's burnout brother who lives in the basement?
Because I kind of am at this point, man.
That's hilarious.
Shoe fits. wear it. That works out pretty well.
I know.
But, like,
I know people. Think
You get
look
up
like
at
something-
4 a.m. and try to, get dressed after taking a shower and
Looks
getting
a
ready
lot
for
more-
work, and it's radio. No one can see me, right?
Letty's a lot more put together than the guy over on this side of the camera.
I've heard of.
I am very much not.
Oh, you look
We are
great.
team sweatpants
You look
usually
great.
here.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys
100%.
look great.
Well, we talk about Dan Katz being the guy that everyone starts pocket watching, looking to see if they got cash.
Sure.
What about another Badger? Hey, how about these guys that are in the NFL? How about we get some of that cash from J.J. Watt?
Yeah. What
Well,
about
Pat
that?
McAfee put his feet to the fire yesterday.
Burnley and Espanol, why don't you own the Wisconsin football team? I see Willie Compton giving speeches and donating his time and everything over there in Nebraska. You're both red. You're both in the middle of America. You're potentially competing for the same type of players. Feels like you got to step up and maybe sell one of those soccer teams so you can invest directly into Luke Fickell's pockets in that team. Have you thought about that?
We need to play better. Yes, we do. Significantly.
Why don't you go give a speech?
I did. Didn't work.
Oh, no.
Not the most inspiring.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
Let's move along. Let's definitely move along.
Not the most inspiring validation of the statement. He did not seem comfortable with that.
I did.
You know what? I do like the ways they want you to buy the team like they're franchises now. Like, no, these are still
just get in there and buy some players.
These are still teams part of universities. Like, these are still like they're not franchises to buy. It's hilarious.
Well, throw some cash in there. Maybe they'll throw us the J.J. Watt sticker on the helmet.
Yeah.
Or maybe they can all be wearing the J.J. Watt shoes again. They still got those?
I don't know.
With the J.J. Watt logo on the kicks, those were sweet.
Joe Thomas was buying Brookfield Central a New Jersey set every other year. It was
that's a little different.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Ben
Just
Bredesen
saying.
helping out over at University of Arrowhead Union High School. Some new jerseys, practice jerseys.
What are you
How about
donating?
them?
What are you donating with,
JJ?
Billy?
Listen, I'm in Dan Cass mode. Listen, if I got the cash, I would definitely help.
You give speeches.
You're talking to the wrong bank account. I would definitely give a speech. Anybody needs one to their high school football team going into level 3, let us know. William Schmid at iHeartMedia.com. I will definitely come and talk to the boys this week. Get them fired up. Now, I don't know if it'll help. It might be a situation where I come in, give a speech, y'all get beat 49-0.
Yeah,
I sure hope that's not the case. I sure hope we're the ones doing the trouncing,
the beating,
but I can't necessarily confirm or deny that won't happen.
Our friend Brian Butch tried that last year, met with the Kettle Moraine basketball team, and they ended up taking it on the chest that night. I'm like, dude, they're a good program. What did you do?
That's Kettle Moraine's fault. They got to make shots.
Okay.
All right.
That Lancers. That's your problem. We have a problem that we need to find a win at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. On the other side, parlay of the day straight ahead in our closing ceremonies. No BS on the game.
Want to watch No BS?
We'll do anything it takes.
They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
We have a place for it.
Just search 97.3 The Game. If you missed No BS, you missed out on this.
Voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrabee hanging out with us here. After how emotional Pittsburgh was and how much everyone's looking forward to Philadelphia, this wasn't super surprising to see the lack of juice, was it?
I would love to argue with you on that, but I really can't. The emotion, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, they get even the best of teams. But the key is really the really good, mature teams find a way to play over that. And, you're exactly right, Billy. The emotion, that Pittsburgh game, okay, the players and the coaching staff, especially going into that game, tried to downplay it as best they could. That game meant a lot to that football team. And I saw it in the locker room after the game. Those guys were hanging around in Pittsburgh, and they were savoring the moment. And it was a big deal because it was a time for them to prove that their guy, Jordan Love, not only was surpassing Aaron Rodgers at this stage, a better player, but they were intent that he would be able to beat Aaron Rodgers in a matchup. Maybe the only matchup they'll ever have against one another.
Billy and Armen are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on The Game.
I'm Hunter Bongar with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Coming up tonight, it's Thursday Night Football in Denver as the 2-6 Raiders take on the 7-2 Broncos. You can hear that game in both Milwaukee and Madison. In Milwaukee, you can hear it on Fox Sports 920 WOKY. And in Madison, you can hear it on 1070 The Game. Pre-game begins at 6:30 with the kickoff at 7:15. If you're looking for some Badgers content tonight, Badgers men's basketball head coach Greg Gard will have his show at 7 o'clock on 1310 WIBA in Madison. I'm Hunter Baumgart for The Game Radio Network.
iHeartRadio soundtrack flashback.
Released late in 1977, Saturday Night Fever soundtrack dominated the charts in 1978. Just imagine shaking your booty on a lighted dance floor to Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Don't talk to me about no Kyle Kuzma.
Hey there, people. This is Mark Maron, and I host the podcast WTF with Mark Maron, which is available on iHeartRadio. Honestly, I think we could all listen to each other a little bit more, and I think it's a healthy thing. I listen to all sorts of people, comedians, actors, musicians, directors, writers, even a president. They come into my garage, and we have a conversation about all the big stuff in life. Go check it out, WTF with Mark Maron, right here on iHeartRadio.
If you don't go to the University of Wisconsin, you're going to end up eating government cheese and living in a van down by the river.
You'll never forget your discovery of Blatz either. For Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer.
Blatz is Milwaukee's finest beer.
You get the black guy today.
Actually, I was in Piquet, right? So while I was checking out my grocery, there was this guy that was about to snatch a purse from a lady. So I was like, hey, man, what are you doing? Stop. So I went and grabbed him, and he kind of turned and elbowed me in the eye. But then I grabbed him, put him on the floor, took the purse, gave it to the lady. And then the lady was safe. I paid for her groceries, too, because she was in shock and stuff. The police came and took the guy. I don't know, took him into custody. So after that, I just went back home, did some treatment, and took a nap.
Join our ball team in 54 in St. Petersburg, Florida. See, that's when Bobby Thompson broke his ankle in St. Petersburg, Florida, in an exhibition ball game. And that's where Henry Aaron got his start. Charlie Grimm gave Henry Aaron an opportunity.
I'm Josh Holloway. The national parks have always been a part of my life, but years of underfunding, pollution, and climate change have taken their toll. Join me and the National Parks Conservation Association in ensuring our national parks are available for future generations. For more, visit preservetheparks.com.
Okay, listen up, everybody. Turn up your volumes. Announcement.
This week on Faith in the Zone, national radio host, author, and founder of the Man Church, Rick Burgess, will be our special guest. Sunday at 8 a.m. only on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeart Radio app.
I certainly do. As soon as I get within range of Milwaukee, I pop your station on the radio so that I can listen to you throughout my stay down there.
Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
Head to the Potawatomi Sportsbook today for a phenomenal sports betting experience, one where you can bet above the rest and enjoy a phenomenal night of dining as well at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Whether you're going to go into the kitchen there and just get some of the sportsbook dining there. Otherwise, my personal favorite in Armen, one that I currently have a massive hankering for.
I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
Please do.
Is it in the marketplace?
It is in the marketplace.
Is it the burger place? In the marketplace? Those burgers are fire.
Is that the burger that you had that was like the size of Montana?
It was a big old boy.
No, that was the sportsbook dining burger.
That was
the sportsbook dining
multiple.
Burger.
Okay,
That one's awesome. Now the piggybacker burger is the one that Luddy got to see and witness me try to eat during Packers game day when I joined Doug Russell. The burger company that Armen is describing is in the marketplace at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Now, I don't know if they have one in the Carter location. They should definitely put one in the Carter location because folks in Rhinelander need to go to the Carter Potawatomi location.
It's a meat.
Get to enjoy some of that. But it is a phenomenal burger over there inside of the marketplace. And I, for one, am thinking about Burger Company right leaping.
That's a great burger. They also have the pizza there. I love, and they have Queen of Ramen. If you're looking for
Which is a good
ramen.
touch. Yes. Now the problem is it opens at 11. So I gotta fake like I'm busy for the next hour.
You can do it.
To then get in there to get it right away at 11.
You have the time to drive though. So you figure
That's true.
All right.
Built-in driving time.
And then while you're in there, Billy, you can fire in a parlay of the day beforehand. So you can go to the kiosks, many great kiosks there.
I like your thought process.
Fire in
here.
your kiosk, fire in your parlay bets.
And we've started off with we kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier on here today. Armen and I both are on the Broncos laying 9 tonight against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, there is a lot of different times where you would say, I don't know that that's a great thing that you guys both are on the same side. I don't know that's great that it feels like as unanimous as it could be. Luddy, are you going to break the graphic? Are you taking the Raiders plus the points here tonight, or would you be on side of Team Mile High and roll with the Broncos?
I'm rolling with the Broncos. Not only did I coach Quinn Miners, I think that
what
they are building out there in Denver is actually going to be something. Sean Payton, as much as people give him crap for him being a whatever as a coach, the dude knows X's and O's and motivates players whether they like it or not. And give me the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm with
Raiders
you.
are struggling.
He knows football. Raiders are big time struggle bus. And if
Coach Quinn Miners,
Coach Quinn Miners, come on now.
Well, I mean, he was running through drills while I was kind of there, at least.
You existed on the same field.
You're in the vicinity, yes.
But the Raiders stink. That's my thing here. All right,
they're not good.
Now we had Kurt in Grafton supplement and help us out with the parlay of the day. He goes, there's one of your picks. Gino throws a pick for the parlay of the day. Kurt, you hit it on the head, brother.
Now.
Add that bad boy into a parlay of the day at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Broncos laying 9. Geno Smith throw 1 interception here tonight. That's minus 175 if you're in the single proposition bet variety. And one that I mentioned earlier on here today, already have and got it earlier before the number went down. I think it's already was at 11-1 earlier in the week, and now it's down to 10-1. I like RJ Harvey to score a touchdown for the Denver Broncos. He has been a phenomenal rookie for them. Kind of a Swiss Army knife. Going into the draft process, Sean Payton said they needed he used a really cool, sweet name for it. They needed a Weapon X. And everyone thought, oh, sweet, they're going to go get Evan Ingram. He's going to be their wildcat tight end, guy like Jimmy Graham's vertical down the field passing game. Well, maybe not so much. More than anything, they needed an Alvin Kamara. They needed somebody that would be able to run routes out of the backfield like a wide receiver, and that's RJ Harvey. He's got 2 touchdowns on the ground this year, but into the receiving game, he's got a touchdown in each of the last 3 games through the air. 5 catches for 51 yards a week ago against Houston in 18-15 game. Had 2 touchdowns on the ground against the Cowboys. And the Broncos are rolling right now. Give me the 24-year-old rookie out of UCF, RJ Harvey, to complete the parlay of the day here today. Plus 215, anytime touchdown. That's plus 575 at the Potawatomi Sports.
All right, Billy, let's go get a dub here. Oh, close yesterday, sort of. We were close in that first game.
Sort of, but not really. Yeah. You and I, and the worst part is you and I both identified what was going to be the issue for the Sixers plus 10.
Yeah.
Against the Cavaliers. Oh, Joel Embiid's not going to play. Well, when Joel Embiid has announced that he's not going to play, the line skyrocketed to 10.5. So clearly they knew he wasn't playing. Nobody was all that worried about him not playing.
No.
And instead that one goes right on the line. Cavs win by 11.
Well, you know, the victory, defeat, and the agony of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, Billy. That's
now, luckily enough, that caused us to not have to put in the time to watch the Timberwolves get absolutely drummed in the final 8 minutes of the game. They were within, I think, 8 with 9.5 minutes to go. They ended up losing by 20.
And that was probably the most important result of the night.
That would have been the toughest one.
Early, yeah.
We ended up cashing late night into the over. If you just tried to supplement and make yourself feel better by grabbing that solo job, then you did. And congratulations to you for finishing off with an over. We're going to hopefully send in a parlay of the day here today. RJ Harvey, anytime touchdown. Broncos laying 9. And Geno Smith to throw a pick on Thursday Night Football. And we'll be right back here in 20 hours to discuss that result, more Packers and Eagles conversation, a preview of the entire week in the NFL for Andrew Ludwig. He's Armen.